Mitch. Get that funded account. Start cashing in, guys. We'll be taking a look into the market this morning. Just missed it by a hair. I was going to get after Trib, and I got out break even on that trade, but it could have got me the win. We'll talk a little bit about the trading setups that are out in the market this morning. And you guys in the chat, say hello. It's good to see some new traders out there. And like always, guys, we'll get right to the show. We'll be taking a look at the playbook. Playbook will be coming up in just a second here. And like always, hey, let's see what we can come up with today. And a little bit of a shakeup, a lot of action going on. A lot of talk, right? A lot of talk. We'll take a look at what's going on in the markets. Is it DeepSeek? Is it Trump? What should we be focusing on? Let's take an assessment overall. Let's take a look into the market, see what we can find, and get to that cash. Let's start it off with today's playbook. All right, traders, on today's playbook, the first thing that we're going to talk about is what happened yesterday, right? I mean, I think that's the first thing that we should be taking a look at, right, is just understanding what really happened yesterday. And that, yeah, we did get the AI takedown, but what could come back today, right? Yesterday, I was looking to distinguish quality between what? Between the euphoric stocks, right? And the one that I mentioned here was SoundHound, and that was a really good look on the short side of things. It was also QUBT, also not too bad on the short side of things, but not as bad, not as good on that one. And then another one was long XLP yesterday, consumer staples, right? And that was not a bad trade at all, guys. So, hey, really good trade on that one. I'm actually going to be putting XLP right back on here. Why? Because I think we could have a kind of an hourly long pullback and then another move back to the upside. So I'm looking for pullbacks closer towards the 79 to get back here into yesterday's range, maybe 79.20s, somewhere in between that 79.30s to 79. I could look for a nice little pullback buy on the XLP. Another way to look at this would be to just look at what is moving in the XLP, right? So I'd take a look at, and I'd point to on the daily chart, look at Estee Slaughter finally starting to catch a little bit of some glimpse of life and could fill the gap. There's a gap to fill towards 87 today. Not a bad one to watch. Walmart taking off. Philip Morris. So tobacco, whenever uncertainty comes into play, this is one to take a look at. Procter & Gamble. The reason why I'm going through this is just to give you guys more than just one play in XLP. There's many ways to play this, right? PepsiCo getting a nice little lift. Colgate-Palmolive, CL, nice push yesterday. So these were all stocks to look at. Why? Because they were defensive names, right? Now we're starting to get the value switch on, and Coca-Cola with a nice little move. So all these names will be in play. Keep your eyes on them. We'll see what happens with the XLP today in the consumer staple stocks. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at another setup here, and this is one that I've been talking about for a while. You guys know because you guys have been here, but Apple off the 220s is now reversed and back towards 230s. I think we could take the 230, 215 from yesterday and really start to push. I think this is something you got to keep your eyes open for because Apple could really start to lead the rally back. I know that even yesterday on a weekday, look at the day it had a hell of a day, right? So I think at this point, I'm watching to see this start to rally back. I think, in about 2 or 3 weeks, all those bears that were coming out on Apple, when the stock is back around 250, 260, yeah, they'll go to the sideline. We'll see what happens there, but definitely this is one of the stocks that I expect to have a good year in 2025. We'll see if it can keep going today. All right, next one up, it would be KRE, guys. You guys have saw me trade this just last week, and I'm looking to see that I can trade KRE again here. And the big part of this is just looking to see if we can get back above the 65. There's a really nice level to watch right above it here. So I'm going to be pointing towards like around the 64, 23s and really looking for a break above the 65. So that's what's going to do it for me. And this has been sideways for a little while now. So let's see if the consolidation has played out and we start to get a breakout above towards the 64.33s today. This is one that I'm even setting that nice alert. Definitely don't want to miss this one today, as this is one of my top plays to watch, especially if we're going to have an up move. Now, a lot of people would ask me, but Mitch, what about all the downside action and the concern about DeepSeek AI? Well, I'd say on KRE, this is more to do with Trump's comments, of course. If you guys didn't catch Trump's comments on the weekend, well, there was some important ones, right? On kind of Friday's action, we got a couple of kind of comments that came from Trump's statement at Davos, pressuring the Fed to cut rates and that they could add to the bullish narrative, right? He said that the other banks would follow us and that he would pressure FOMC or Jerome Powell, in this case, to go ahead and cut rates. We'll see what happens there. How much pressure can Trump put on? And will they even talk about cutting rates, right? We'll see what happens at the meeting. Of course, that's going to partake on Wednesday in the afternoon. 2 p.m. will be your press release. 2:30 will be that conference. All right, guys, we'll see what happens with the KRE. But I also take a look at the XLF. XLF continuing to go yesterday. And why is it moving to the upside? I think that's particular kind of saying right there. And I'm looking to see what happens with other actions. SoFi has pulled back off of their earnings. Can they fill the gap back to the upside? We'll see what happens on some of these plays. Like always, you can keep up with all the action during our trading show, of course. All right, guys, that's enough of today's playbook. We're going to go looking into the market. Then we'll get to the sunrise report. We'll be joined by, of course, none other than Just the Trades today. So stick around, guys, for that, as we'll be getting into the action today. And definitely going to be missing out my man Michael Noss today, and he's going out there to New York City. Hope he's doing well. I'll try to catch some videos if we post something up to kind of keep us up to date. But hey, wish you the best of luck on your flight out there in New York City, my friend. Go get some milk bakery. Yes. Oh, good. Amazing cookies. Amazing pie. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, New York. That's what I think when I think New York. I start thinking pies and sweets. There's a lot of good bakeries out there. Magnolia Bakery too. Oh, good stuff out there, guys. All right, we'll see what happens with some stocks out there. Let's take a look at the overall market action. SPY getting up there above the 600, but now running into some altitude and starting to tickle down, guys. One of the things, of course, is that yesterday we got the bulls to come kind of back into the market. Now will they start to take a hit? I think we got to continue to watch to see what happens on the hourlies. And you can see here on the hourly how we're starting to already start to break towards the trend line. Let's see if that trend line gets broken today and what will happen when we get towards that, right? That could cause some more downside action, or will we just come back and fill the gap? There's definitely traders that will be betting on both ways of this bet. So we'll see what happens, right? Like always, I felt like this was a nice kind of consolidating line, and we've held this trend line down here that I definitely want to get us to keep focused on. That's from November of before 2024, right? And I would definitely draw that and kind of hold that. As long as we're holding above that, I think we're still looking pretty good in this market. That's just kind of the trend from, of course, when we started this drive back in 2023. So we haven't broken that. We've only broken it a couple of times in extreme moments. We had this extreme moment right here in January, and we already had it, right? And so we've had a couple of shakes down there into that area, and now I'll be watching to see if we break down towards the 593s again. That would be the bearish sign, and we'll be looking to see what happens on some other kind of move. If we could start to get the up move to 610, it could be a breakout, right? And just how the market loves to do it, guys. So a lot of times the market's going to be trying to stop us out, right? It scared a lot of traders out before some big earnings. Let's talk about the earnings, and we'll talk about the earnings that come out today. We'll get towards some of those, and we can even take a look at some of them right here, right? Of course, not bad action here. right here from Earnings Hub. As I've been using this, I need to reach out to them. But I like the use of this. I can use Benzinga Pro. I can use plenty of different things. But definitely the earnings feeds from today. We can go through all of these really quickly. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of these in the Sunrise Report, but let's keep it rolling, guys. Let's take a look here. Today, before the open, we got Boeing, right? Boeing EPS beat estimate 4 times in 17 quarters. That's really good insights there. And that tells me that, guess what? Probably expected not to beat the quarter, right? Not to beat, right? Well, guess what, guys? The estimate came in here for Q4 at minus 244s, and it came in really bad, guys. Minus 590s here. And revenue, not looking good either, right? Underneath that. So another miss here on Boeing's earnings. And there'll be more that we'll talk about it on the Sunrise Report, but just wanted to cover that, right? And then what's coming tonight? I think it's important also to take a look at that. Today, we're going to be talking about how to win during the earnings season. A lot of this is looking ahead, not the day of, but maybe even a day or two prior to see if these stocks could get a run. So what would I see here? Well, what's going on Wednesday? Well, we got Tesla. And Tesla's revenue beat estimate 10 times in the last 17 quarters. So we'll see if Tesla can continue to beat. Then we got Microsoft, which has beat revenues 15 in the last 17 times. And Meta. A lot of people want to hear about Meta. Meta, really nice breakout yesterday that I called on a nice hourly long pullback off support. I missed the trade by 20 cents, but I hope somebody out there was able to nail Meta. And Meta really looking good, guys. What I love is like things like this, right? You can get an AI summary, right? Things like that are really going to help you on Earnings Hub. So definitely check it out, guys. I think it's a pretty cool service. But we can take a look to see how these charts are setting up and maybe what we can maybe catch some money on these, catch some nice push to the upside, right? So we'll be taking a look at some of these actions to see how they're continuing to push right now. Meta, really nice day yesterday. Oh my God, it went up to 660s from 620s, guys. I missed a 40-point rally and I was trying to get 50 shares. So we're talking $2,000 trade there. Man, what a trade yesterday on Meta and big breakout in Meta. Of course, later in the week on Thursday, we'll get also Apple after the close. We'll get some Caterpillar. So looking for stocks like this that we'll be reporting. ASML, right? T-Mobile, Shell, Mobileye, one that I'm really kind of keeping a very close eye on. Southwest, right? UPS, another important one, and MasterCard. So we got a lot on the tape. We'll keep going through some of the earnings out there, but definitely something to take a look at, guys. It looks like GM is on their conference calls, RTX and SYF. So we'll see what happens there, but definitely something to keep up with. All right, let's go ahead. Let's pull this down. We'll take a look into the Sunrise Report. We'll take a look into the overall market. SPY still kind of hanging in there on the 600. As long as that can hold, we ain't looking too bad. But at any point, we could flush through that 600 spot. The Qs are a little bit weaker than the SPY is. I feel like it's at the bottom, near the bottom, and it was a really hard takedown yesterday. So I'm just looking to see that we don't go back to yesterday's low. As long as we can keep off of yesterday's low, I won't get bearish. But if we do start to break that, let's say going back towards 510s, yeah, that'd be the sign of concern. I'm going to go ahead and take this green line off because that doesn't really even matter anymore. We kind of shook all that action. I'm just looking at that kind of the 510s right now. And then if we could get back and try to fill this gap here, it's going to be an important gap to kind of get up there and fill and then start to make another drive for the breakout look. That would be a nice trend line look above this. We'll see if we can get back up to this level. This is going to be where I think the kind of the green continues and the euphoria continues. Back when the theme trades, like the quantum trades, could come back in, right? IonQ could take a nice tumble today as it continues. We'll see what happens. It has made a nice move back up, has been trying to get back into the gap, but could easily start to reject the gap and start to let go. So keep your eyes on IonQ to see if it can get back above 41.27. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Let's catch up some comments in the chat. What's going on this morning, Steph? How we doing? Trib for a quick scalp. And look here, man, I'm still a little annoyed on Trib because I felt like I had it down packed, and it started to take off, and then pulled back just at the last second there and then cut me out, guys. But look at this trade setup. I had a really nice trade going on here, and I just got cut out break even as it pulled back here. So it was a really nice trade setup. You guys can see it. I'm not lying here, guys. I got in there at the 99 cents, got out of there right here on that $1 pullback. I got out for a 1 penny gain there. Maybe should have risked a couple of pennies there, maybe 5 cents. That would have kept me into the trade. And then finally getting the breakout. I was trying to take the profits at 140. But yeah, I'm not saying I would have got 165, but 140 would have been nice on the account. Trib with a pullback to 124 now. We'll see if this one's done for the day. A little part of me feels like it is, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, Trib, not a bad trade there. But hey, you win some, you lose some, and you keep it going, right? Rigetti, also one to watch, right? We'll be watching to see what happens in Rigetti today. Rigetti has been, of course, kind of moving back and forth, right? Yesterday pulling back, and I was looking for a short. It pulled back. Now today it's actually pushing to the upside. So this is just as easy as things can flip, right? I know that we were kind of bearish yesterday, but watch out for a nice little rip in Rigetti today. Something tells me that I'm not going to be betting against QUBT today. I think it could start to try to make a little bit of a gap fill. Let's see if it makes a move to 15. That'd be a nice move there for Rigetti today. Big part on this stock is just kind of watching right now the hourly pullback, the hourly long pullback yesterday, shaking some of that action. So if you get an attempt towards 13, I'd just like to see 1280s hold, and then it start to work towards 14 today. Big part, you got to let the other stocks make the move too. IonQ needs to start coming back there. QUBT, QMCO, all these could kind of move side by side. Rigetti, not looking too bad. All right, guys, let's get this money today. Of course, we're going to get after it. Let's go. Let's go. How are you and the family? Doing good. Future, it's good to see you, my friend. Battling, and I will let you guys know, due to family situation, I will be out tomorrow on, not tomorrow, on Thursday. Let me correct that. On Thursday, guys, I will be out on Thursday, but we will have someone filling in. We'll have Tim filling in and some others joining us. So stick around, guys. And got to keep battling today, guys. I'm trying to get this funded account, guys. I am so close for it, guys. Look at the profit target, 1,193 to 1,350. You guys can see it. I'm right there, guys. Right there, about $160 off, a little bit under that, $157, you could say. So we'll see what happens there with this, if I'm able to go ahead and cash in today. Got close on that one trade right there. That would have got me probably within $80. So as you guys can see, it hasn't been perfect on this account, but have been kind of just slowly stair-stepping it higher. Going to keep trying to push today. We'll see what happens. Risk to return, I think, is very important here. 1 to 5.2. That's going to give me the ability to keep staying in the green, even if I'm not 50% accurate. And I've been 57% accurate for now on this account, and we're just going to keep it pushing. As you guys can see, another thing is the losses. The loss is around $50. And like you'll see like a $26 loss here. But a lot of the other trades have been pretty kind of the similar area, right? 1850, 1150. But look at the wins. The wins are big. 340, 180, 400, right? 88, right? So trying to continue that streak. 96 yesterday, guys. So yesterday you guys saw me short sound at 1510, was able to exit at 1461. Maybe cut it out a little too early, guys. And this was one of those where if I would have let the trade work all day, it would have been able to go ahead and probably make me the money just yesterday. So, hey, hindsight 2020, we'll see what happens. It did bounce a little bit there, and I ended up getting out right around the 460 area where it bounced right here, and eventually went all the way down towards 14. Missed out on another 71 cents with 200 shares. That'd been like another $140. Of course, I'm like 160 away from it, so maybe it would have been like $20 off. on the best trade yesterday, but can't be mad because I was able to keep myself in reach, of course. All right, we'll keep pushing. We'll see what else is out there. Let's keep taking a look what else is out there. Morning, Mitch. Were you able to hit the target on the account yesterday? Myself am within $200 of passing as well. And just trying to not rush at this point and not blow my profit. 1,000%, Mike. I really like this comment. And as you can see, that's why I brought in the conversation. This is so important right now, right? And one of the things that I tried to do yesterday was I didn't get pretty on sound. I could have just tried to keep pushing. I said, you know what, Mitch, just keep yourself within one trade. One trade goes well, and we got this. All right. So yesterday I cut, $50, and then finally made $100, right? Well, let's see if I can make that $150, $160 trade, right? I don't need to make it in one trade either. If I can see maybe $80 to $100, I don't mind just taking that and then leaving just $50 that I need to get after. And what I can do, and I have been doing, is sizing down, right? Because at this point, I don't need a big winner. I just need a simple, nice base hit. So that's what I'll be trying to do today. We'll see what happens with this trade, Mike. If I'm able to go ahead and nail it, I'll keep pushing for you, my friend. I wish you the best of luck. Within 200 of passing, hey, let's get after it, Mike, and hope we nail it today. Like always, traders, we're talking about the limited accounts, right? I'm pretty sure you're talking about a small limited also. I wish you the best of luck, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get that money. We got a lot of love in the chat. And hey, there's one thing for certain. Our chat loves to see other traders win. Because the truth is, if they're winning, we're all winning, guys, because we can all learn from each other and keep things going. All right, let's keep taking a look. If you guys have any stocks you guys want to watch, keep throwing them up. Now it's time to kick things to none other than the Sunrise Report. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market and why certain stocks are moving. All right, traders. First up, we got to talk about, of course, the Fed. The Fed. So the Federal Reserve right now is kicking off its 2-day meeting, of course, and it'll resolve tomorrow on Wednesday at 2 p.m. when we get the press release, and then, of course, the fireworks, which will come at 2:30. Expect a lot of questions on Trump pressuring Jerome Powell. Trust me. This is what traders are watching for, because if Trump is going to be able to push Jerome Powell to cut the rates there, well, guess what? Well, then the market might be going higher. So we'll have to take a look to see what happens. Of course, Jerome Powell, I think, will try to calm the expectations of those rate cuts. So keep your eyes on it. Is he dovish? Is he hawkish? Only one way to find out, traders. Stay tuned. And like always, guys, you guys can catch a special event on our Discord. If you guys are not catching our Discord, well, you're missing out, team, because like tomorrow, I know Tim will be kind of leading that action, and a lot of traders check out the events that are going on our Discord. We'll be doing something for the FOMC tomorrow. So, hey, guys, tune in and get into that Discord. You should be able to find a link right now in the description. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Hit those likes, hit the subscribe. Let's keep things going today. Like always, we got a lot more for you guys coming up right here on, of course, Trade the Pool. Let's take a look at, let's keep the sunrise continuing to move here and keep it going here. Let's see what else we can come up with today. All right, guys, first one up here, we're going to talk a little bit more about NVIDIA. NVIDIA bouncing back, guys. Big bounce back yesterday, but already kind of getting faded in the morning. So that's the sign of concern. I'm personally not the biggest fan of NVIDIA this year. I've talked about that plenty of times, but we'll see what happens there. AVGO, of course, AI kind of counterpart there, really taking a beating yesterday. It did go back into the gap. So I'm looking to see if we can get a recovery today. A recovery above 211.80s or this low right here, 211.11. So let's just make it nice and simple. 211.11. So that's going to be the real move there above AVGO to see if we can get a nice little breakout recovery. All right, we'll see what happens there. Oracle is another one to kind of keep an eye out, right? We'll see what happens on that. Oracle, of course, was just up there towards 190, caught a bunch of longs. So now you look at the monthly or weekly support. That's what I'd be watching. Monthly support gives it right around this level, 152. It held to the key yesterday. So now I'd be looking to see that, making sure that that holds. If it comes down there one more time, then we start to work our way back to 170. I don't see it going back immediately to 183. So watch out there in Oracle. We'll see if it can come back up. All right, let's go to Boeing, and everyone wants to talk a little bit of some Boeing action today. Let's take a look at Boeing right now, and Boeing's getting a nice little move, right? I mean, this is going to be an important stock to see what happens today with the industrial space, of course. And just to kind of give you guys the really quick look there on Oracle. Oracle right off the monthly support around the 153 level. So keep your eyes on that to see if it's able to hold on there, and different names to see if we can turn around. AVGO, I feel a lot better than I do about the other ones. Boeing there, let's take a look at Boeing here. They reported adjusted a Q4 loss of $5.90 per share versus a $3 expected, right? So really bad outlook there. Revenues at $15.24 billion versus the $16.21 billion expected. There was a $3 billion charge hit to its aircraft and defense unit. So that's not a good outlook there. 2024 losses totaled $11.83 billion, the largest since 2020. And Boeing burned $14.31 billion this year, impacted by strikes and delivery delays. And that's the real keys, delivery delays. The strikes hurt it, but hey, those delivery delays, they're really bad. Of course, CEO Kelly Ortberg aims to stabilize the output and refocus on the core business and streamline operations. Investors will watch the potential here for unit spinoffs like Javiston Navigation and updates on defense cost overruns during today's earnings call. Airlines could feel the impact as American Airlines cut Miami, Paris, and other routes due to delayed 787 Dreamliner deliveries. So more continued deliveries struggling here. Ryanair also lowered passenger targets, citing Boeing delays. So Boeing, get your stuff together, man. People want their planes. We'll see what happens with Boeing. Man, I don't even know how this company still hangs around, but we'll see what happens here, guys. Can it get back above 175 and start making a run to 180? I think you got to watch the industrial space overall. It's an interesting space right now, and it's starting to make the lift. Lockheed Martin would be one that to keep an eye out to see what happens. But look at RTX. RTX is as strong as ever. So, hey, who knows? Maybe we could start to see a continuation in the aerospace and defense trade. Of course, Boeing is in that aerospace and defense trade. So let's see if it can start to make a push here, maybe go back towards 200. We'll find out, right? All right, Autodesk getting a nice little push this morning. Autodesk, of course, ADSK getting a nice little push there. We'll see if this can continue back. This has been really strong. Nice kind of rounding bottom. Getting back towards the 322s is a really important look. It jumped after an upgrade to outperform from Mizuno, citing industrial recovery potential. So we'll see what happens with that one. Not a bad stock to keep an eye out for on Autodesk. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go towards the next stock as we talk a little bit about what General Motors. Let's go to General Motors here, as it's been pretty loved. I mean, especially in 2024, at a hell of a year. Is this going to be the year where it continues doing it, or will it run into some headwinds? Marginally lower despite an earnings beat here. Q4 earnings of $1.92 here. Beat the 189 expectations, revenues of 47.7 billion versus the 43.93 billion expected. So a pretty decent beat on revenue there. GM projected full year earnings between $11 to $12 per share. So not looking too bad at all, and a pretty good outlook. Yet the stock is taking a hit this morning. So that just tells us right now that even on good earnings, we're not getting the same reaction that we were, right? Another thing that's going to be hurting it is Tesla on the downside right now. Let's go to Royal Caribbean as we take a look at, yes, the cruise ships are leaving the port. I still remember the call on NCLH when it was down at the bottom there. And that was down here around the 15s in 2024. And this thing took off there, almost 100% move, 76% higher, about 60% higher since when we talked about it. The cruise lines aren't going away, guys. And Royal Caribbean is as expensive as ever and coming out with more and more ships and planning on, guess what? More and more ports, more and more ships coming out, and they're not going to stop anytime soon, guys. I think one thing you got to be watching for is for monthly long pullbacks so that you can get a better opportunity to be an investor in Royal Caribbean. But think about this in 2020. This was a $35 stock in 2020. And in 2022, it went back down to $31. You could have got that at the pandemic pricing and now be up on the stock 633%. Yes, on Royal Caribbean. Sometimes, guys, the best investment is right there. You just need to look underneath the hood. Royal Caribbean, man, what a trade, what a move, and what a continuation throughout the whole year. Throughout the whole year, this thing pulled back and just kept going. All right, guys, we'll see what happens with it. Of course, the earnings here surged nearly after 6%, crushing earnings expectations. The guidance for Q1 and full year EPS also exceeded the forecast, with Q1 expected between $2.43 and $2.53 on the high end. Just to give him perspective, the expected move there was $2.35. So even on the low end, well above the expected outlook. There was a little bit of some mixed bags in the financial space. JetBlue getting a little bit of a hit there, down, slipped over 7%. But SYF dropped 5% after missing Q4 estimates there of 191 versus 193. JetBlue was slipping a pretty good amount, 7%, despite better than expected Q4 results. The airline forecast higher than expected 2025 capital expenditures of $1.4 billion versus $1.25 billion. Another thing to keep in mind is how this just hasn't turned around, guys. This has had all the opportunity to really kind of turn the story, and it just doesn't seem like it is. Love is one that I'm still keeping an eye on, so we'll see what happens. It's starting to get closer towards the earnings. This is when I start to take a look at it, because if it's going to run, maybe it'll run right before its earnings. So maybe a move to 33 today, not a bad one to keep an eye out for. So we'll see what happens if we get that move to 32.60s and really start to get a lift in Love Southwest. All right, defensive sector doing really well, guys. Lockheed Martin fallen, but RTX jumped 4% on a Q4 beat with $1.54 EPS versus $1.38. $21.62 billion in revenue versus $20.54 billion in revenues. So big push there in RTX, and Lockheed Martin falling after missing revenue expectations at $18.62 billion versus an $18.91 expected. So Lockheed Martin and RTX going in separate ways. Let's see how that plays out today. Of course, a big question will be, can Boeing recover, right? And you guys in the chat, what do you guys think? Can Boeing recover? It's only one way to find out. All right, traders, we'll keep it going. It's good to see you guys out there. I see a lot of you guys now jumping in. Hit the like button. And like always, hit the share button. Let everybody know this is the place to be in the morning, getting your playbook, getting your sunrise report, and of course, your trading action right here on TTP Live, right? Trade the pool, guys. What's going on, guys? Some word on SAP. All right, we could take a look at that. Definitely ready to keep it going, and it's good to see you guys out there. Mike, get after it, my friend. Stay focused. Play your game. Same way I'll try to do the same myself, right? Let's see what we can come up with. And I do have, of course, the extra buying power account and the limited buying power account that's doing pretty well also. I'm trying to push that one. I know that one expires on the 2nd. So what I'm planning to do is just continue riding it and extending that one. I'll show you guys that tomorrow as I make the extension happen, and I start to keep pushing forward on that account. Sometimes you're not going to make it in the 45 days. Another way to do that is just to extend it, right? Don't try to do what I've done in the past, which is maybe trying to take a big swing and then just ruining the account, ruining all the hard work that I've done. I'm trying to keep that going. It's not looking too bad either. Of course, the small limited account is at 1,993, and the buying power one is at 1,695. So almost about 1,700, about halfway there, right? I mean, it's not looking too bad. I think it's a little bit over halfway. I'm closer towards like 55, 60% of the account. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we keep going. All right, today, guys, we'll be doing some fun activities like always. We've been doing some engagement things and things like that. So today, would you take this trade? Would you take this trade is going to be where I'll show you guys a setup, right? And you guys let me know which one would you take, right? I'm going to give you guys a detailed scenario and let me know if you take the trade and why. So we'll do that later today at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m., look forward to that as we'll look to kind of keep going and keep pushing, guys. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see what else is out there. No more, tell me about that. No more overnight trading. Yeah, man, overnight trading. Believe it or not, Future, that's where I do the best on overnight trading, but it's difficult, man. One thing that I would say about overnight trading is that you can't let one stock kind of break you, right? It needs to be the mentality of having multiple stocks so that maybe you have one that can kind of even out the other's loss overnight, right? That's why normally when I swing trade, I like to stick between about 5 to 7 positions. I've gone as deep as to like 15 positions, but I've felt that, even 10 positions is kind of hard to manage. So you got to be able to manage that and make sure that you're in different areas, that you're just not loading the boat in all semiconductors or something like that, right? Make sure that you're playing some plays that are uncorrelated or kind of move separate from the other play. All right, guys, we'll take a look around in the market. That's going to do it for today's Sunrise Report. In a little bit, we'll be joined by Justy Trades. But let's kick off the show. You guys know where you're at, guys. Let's keep it going. Start that countdown and sound that alarm. Let's go. Wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. All right, traders, welcome to it. Let's drink a little coffee. Let's put the pinkies on out, guys. It's going to be a great day. Today is the day Money Mitch gets funded. Let's go. Let's get that money, guys. I've been focused, guys. Been more focused than ever. And I think that even the Trib trade could have done well today. I can let it affect my emotions because I broke even. But to tell you the truth, I can't. I got to move past it. And just like you guys out there, make sure that you're not getting to this point where you get this, what's called risk aversion. Risk aversion is when we start to get to this point where we're scared of making trades, right? Because why? We just don't want to lose. And don't get into that mentality because the truth is winning and losing is what trading is all about, right? At the end of the day, you're going to win and lose tons of times, guys. I'm losing, it seems like, internet here, guys. So I just want to make sure that I'm with you guys here. If my internet kicks out, guys, I'll be right back, guys. But I'll let you guys know if I do see some slippage there. I did get some internet to cut out there for a second there. I could hear it in the background. Let me see. I think I'm still good right now. Yeah, it looks like I'm still good. Some up and down action going on in my internet. I could hear it in my ears. But let's keep going, guys. We'll see what else is out there. Like always, guys, be careful with that risk aversion, because one of the things that traders can do often is get to this point where they're doing well and then they just don't want to lose. The truth is we're going to lose, but know how much you're going to lose is very important, right? To me, that's why I try to set myself up with 1 to 3 outlooks, 1 to 4 outlooks, because at that point, I don't need to be even 50% accurate to make money. A lot of traders need to be 70, 80% accurate to make money because they're going for 1-to-1 trades or 1 to 1.5 or 2-to-1 trades, right? And the key there is your winning accuracy needs to be higher so that you find success. I'm actually trying to do setups where my winning accuracy can be actually pretty low, and then I still get into the green. Now, the key there is respecting the risk to loss ratio, because if you start to mess that up, you quickly lose out on the probability side of things and you start to feel the pressure, right? So, like yesterday, $50 losses made $100. That was a 2-to-1, and you can see I started to cut that down a little bit there, but the mentality is still there, right? Don't lose that, because if you lose that, are not willing to take trades, that's when we get into analysis paralysis, and then we can't even make a trade. All right, guys, we'll see what else is out there. Let's keep it going, guys. We'll see what we can make some money today. Let's go, guys. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool, and we got a lot more for you right here. All right, guys, let's take a look around. Let's see what's moving right now. Apple is one that I want to keep an eye out for today. That's pulling back a little bit. Let's go to the SPY. SPY still trickling down here, guys. So we'll see if we start to get some red action here. I think you continue to watch NVIDIA and other names to see if we get some continued downside leak, right? How did Qualcomm do yesterday? Qualcomm getting a little bit of a bounce, but then eventually did fade. I mean, it faded early and then bounced back. We'll see if it fades again today. Not a bad one to look at if we get some weakness in the market. Some strength also. I mean, Qualcomm's been on the move. It got out of the ARM situation. Of course, ARM has been talked about as being a really positive stock, and then pulled back all the way to the 145. This is not a bad one to keep an eye out for a reversal today. If we are just going to come back green, right, like, and just keep ripping it and just shake all the bears today, well, 150. Big watch for me today on that ARM trade. So keep your eyes to see what happens on this one. And there could be some Trump announcements or something like that, right? That could keep this going. This caught a lot of bulls up here at 182. So I'm wondering if it gives them a chance to think that they're coming back, right? Maybe try to fill some of this gap, right? If it can just fill this gap, I don't mind trying to just play the move towards 162. All right, guys, that's ARM right there. We'll keep going, and we're really excited to get to the market today. See if I can hit that funded account and keep things pushing. But, of course, I'm going to be joined by my man today, Justy Trades in the house. All right, guys. So what's going on, Steve? How we doing, my friend?
Hey, good to be here, Mitch. How you doing this morning?
Doing great, man. Ready to get back after the market and trying to keep things going. I'm really close to the funded limited account. So let's see what happens within like 160, a little bit under that. So not too bad, up about 1,000, about 193 on that account right now. So let's see what I can do. That's my penny stock account. So we'll see if I can find some smaller trades, right? Or maybe I trade something like QUBT or Rigetti today. I mean, they're still looking good, right? And I think that the market loves to do this, right? Where there's still some big indecision today going into the market. Of course, with yesterday's kind of takedown look, and then it came back. Like I always say, the market loves to hurt where it can hurt the most. Yesterday, it went what? Started the morning in the panic mode, right? Started to go higher around the 11 a.m. Then it said, you know what? Let's bring back the panic. It went down there and started bringing back the panic. And then right towards the end of the day, of course, like they say, the day traders or the retail traders trade early and the professionals come later, right? They say professionals come at 3 p.m. And look what happened around 3 p.m. Well, they just bought the dip right there off the low on the hourly chart. And boom, right back towards the resistance. This morning above the resistance and now starting to pull back. So like I say, as long as we don't take out those lows from yesterday, I'll try my best to stay in the bullish camp. We'll see what happens. You know how the bears, they start coming out real quick.
Oh, yeah. One thing, I wanted to note about the late day buying is that you finally saw a little bit of trend change in the weakest sectors. And by that, I mean, I saw a green candle, a singular green candle on NVIDIA, it was rough out there. But, there was some change of character on the tape at the end of the day. And I will be looking to see if that can follow through. Like you're saying, we had the big one-day move. But, hey, what really happened? We broke basically all-time highs on SPY, and now we're coming back and back testing some of the gaps, right? So I'm trying to not get too ahead of myself in either direction. I saw the flow on NVIDIA. I did not take a stab, so that one stings a little. But we gotta keep things in perspective. Uptrend, still have some room to go if we can catch here. Like you're saying, really important to watch today's or yesterday's lows. But I'm cautiously optimistic here, to be completely honest. The mega caps are looking really good. A lot of them are holding up very well. Amazon, stuff like that.
Dude, Meta's call yesterday. Oh, good Lord, man. I was here yesterday and I'm like, all right, well, maybe we look for like a little like undercut, right? Through the support, right? Oh, and it was a beautiful open, right? I mean, the opening action was a quick move higher and then right back down. And then it just caught that. And boy, oh boy, did I miss a big breakout on that one right here. So that undercut towards support, bounced off of that, came right back to it. And then boom, green was there, man. And I missed it by 20 cents underneath this. I had an order 20 cents underneath this low and just did not get the fill. And I went for 50 shares there. It didn't seem like it was going to be much. I was trying to find the right size, right? Because Meta's hard, right? I mean, $600, right? And moves like $10 in an instant, right, man? So even 50 shares, that's a pretty good position there. And this thing went bananas, man. I think this is what held the market, really. I mean, and look at it this morning. It's not going away.
Amazon was crazy. Opened red, closed high a day. That one was beautiful. We have look at that. That's crazy. So that's what's the other one that I was thinking of? Apple as well. So
Apple, man. Yeah, it's on the playbook for me today, and I've been watching it, and something told me when I saw those lemons come out with a downgrade right around the monthly support. You know how it goes there, man. I mean, there's a reason why I call them lemons, man. And I mean, at the end of the day, these guys just set up things a lot of the time. So whenever I see like analysts like outlooks, a lot of times instead of looking at the daily, I'll go to the monthly. I'll be like, what are they seeing that maybe they're trying to trick you on, right? What is the daily setup versus the monthly setup tell me? The daily setup a lot of times can put a lot of panic into you, right? You see this, right? And you're like, oh my God, Apple just keeps going down every single day.
Right.
What's going on, Steve? The market's doing well, but Apple just keeps getting crushed.
Well, what I always say is it's searching for something, right? That's where you got to pull up the higher time frames, or you know, just a further down target like that 200 DMA.
Yeah, and so what I always say there is like, instead of, all right, well, maybe you're like kind of concerned. And you're like, well, let's not play hero. Well, just wait till you start to see the moving averages start to turn, right? And that's what I think we're getting now, right? Where, we hit the 200 on the daily. We tapped it. We undercut it, then recovered it. And I think that this is an important outlook. When you undercut something and then you come back to it and then hold. On this day, on Friday, we went back to 221.40s. And didn't even touch towards 220s. So at this point, as long as we don't cut 220s, I'm feeling bullish on Apple, right? And then I can start to take a look at the monthlies and weeklies and look how all this support kind of lines into where we bounce right off of it, right? So, hey, you can easily have 4 weeks down and then easily have 4 weeks down after what it was. It was 7 weeks up, right? Crazy. So, hey, 4 weeks down after 7 weeks up, that still tells me there's 3 more weeks to the upside, man.
There's a lot of room. There's a lot of room.
Yeah,
in either direction, right? There's a lot of room in either direction, depending on which way we go. So I'm just preaching, I had a really good week the last week, and I took a little bit of a header yesterday, because, hey, you don't make good money without pressing it. So we had one red day. Now I'm reevaluating, right? So now I'm kind of deciding
Love to hear it. Linda's saying she's in Apple. Hey, there you go. At least somebody was able to nail it. One of the things is we're always going to talk so many different stocks, guys. Don't forget, you guys out there make your decision, right? There's going to be times where we'll talk about a stock and it'll just stand out to you and you'll just be like, ooh, they might be onto something there. That's what you want to be seeing, that kind of thing with a light bulb. They say the light bulb goes off, right? Wait for those moments. And then at that point, don't worry about other traders. Worry about what you can do at that point, right? There's so many times I can tell you guys where I've had that thought and then maybe overthinked it and didn't take the trade, looked back and been like, wow.
Yeah, it's but it comes with time for sure.
Yeah, that's why I always say at the end of the day, as day traders, all we're working to do is build up our decision-making skills. That's all we're trying to do. Build it up. Once you can build that up, and stick to your decision-making skills, have an ability to make decisions under pressure, that's usually when you start to see the upside in day trading.
Right, absolutely. One thing I want to mention really quick before we get started here, 5 minutes. So I was talking about how I'm cautiously optimistic because of the strength in the mega caps, but there is another side of the story that I'm watching, and I'm kind of like, for me, it's like dueling narratives, right? And we're seeing which one actually sees the follow through. Because obviously, mega caps have had a lot of follow through so far. They're starting to catch another bid. What else is catching a bid? Defensives like tobacco stocks, BTIs breaking out MOs, looking good, stuff like that. That makes me a little worried. Also, healthcare had a great day. So, which of these kind of sectors of the market is going to kind of win? That's what I'm really looking to gauge today and this week as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad way to look at it. And I think that just a lot of conflicting noise in the market right now. So many narratives underneath the hood, right? And that's why I think that yesterday I thought it was interesting, that the DeepSeek AI thing came out right then and there, because I think it really turned the eyes away from Trump's comments at Davos. And kind of what he talked about was that he was going to pressure Jerome Powell, right? And that he was going to pressure the Fed. That is way more important than any DeepSeek AI. I can tell you that right now, guys, because the truth is interest rates will affect so many different sectors, right? That's why I think we're seeing different action in different stocks. That's why I think we started to see even kind of the utilities kind of pull back and things. Guys, just keep watch to see what's going on in the sectors and industries. That's going to lead the action. Right now, I'm seeing energy kind of hanging out there, right? We'll see what happens in energy. Can that start to make a move? I'm watching to see what happens in, of course, the XLK. Right now, it's kind of just hanging out. I'll write off the support. This is where the monthly buyers usually kind of step in. So let's see if they can do it. And I think one of the major things to watch there is the weakness that we've been seeing in Tesla, because Tesla could be one of those stocks that could start to put a damper on the overall market just because it's big weighting, right? And so that's one that I'd put a little bit concerned, a damper. Why? Because GM today with good earnings taking a beating right now, and that might tell us a little bit of something about what could be coming for Tesla today, right? So a lot of times I look at Tesla to lead GM, but in this case, GM might lead Tesla, right? So don't forget that, guys. We'll see what happens there in GM, taking a little bit of a downturn there. All right, Steve, any other trade on your watch before the bell rings here?
I'm stalking Google. If we do catch, I'd really like to see strength in Google. The longer dated charts are really nice. It took a bit of a beating yesterday, so I'm trying to see if it's real or not, so to speak. That's one that I'm definitely watching for. Rivian is another. I was seeing a lot of flow on Rivian. I want to see if it can catch that 13, which it is. It just rejected it open here, so we'll see her leading into open. We'll see, but that's on my list.
I think that one's being affected by the GM report also, right? And so don't forget that auto manufacturers all kind of. And so I need to see Tesla and GM rip today for that Rivian trade to come into play, right? And so that's what I would be watching. I'd use Tesla and GM as an indicator, and if anything, can GM recover the action from the earnings, right? And so if it can just do that, it doesn't need to go actually necessarily green, but just come back to, like, let's say above 54 today. That could be a good sign for that Rivian trade.
Yeah, I think it's super key though, because that's probably what the flow is there, right? Good eye on the GM. That was a sympathy play. Maybe those missed.
Definitely one to watch there, and we'll see what happens, because Ford will also be moving off of that. And look how Ford is already taking the hit, right? There's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason why, man. If I see GM take the hit, I'm telling you, these arbitrage algos and things like that, they'll just start nailing down stocks, right? Nailing down stocks. And then they'll go to the trash and try to start hitting it, like Lucid, right? They'll look for they'll look for it. They'll go mulling.
Oh geez, don't get me started on that.
They'll go all over the place, man. And a lot of this, you guys can look in the auto manufacturer area right now. One area that has been hot in this space has been XPEV. So if you want to look at something, look at the China autos, look at China EV, look at China overall. Look at this. This is starting to look good, man.
China's looking great. And Mitch, I'm just going to run and get water before the bell here. But
go ahead, my friend. I'll put you in the background. You're good. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's get ready for the bell here. We'll see what happens. And China is looking good, guys. And I think we got to continue to watch to see what happens in this space. As I've talked about it, China could be the best investment in 2025. And I really do feel that way. And look at the BABA, how it's been moving. We'll see if these China names can continue to push today. Not looking too bad right there. I'll be watching for a move above that 91.50. Let's go looking into the market. Let's see what we can come up with today, traders. And of course, be careful out there. There's going to be a lot of action moving back and forth. Rigetti on my watch, QUBT on my watch. Of course, we'll be watching different names out there, XLP, different names out there to see what can get the lift today, guys. All right, Trib up there to 130s. I'm not feeling too good about Trib. I'm probably leaving Trib alone right now. I'm going to look into my scanners out here and see what I can find, but let's get after it, team. Let's go. All right, first up, I got NVNI as one name that's moving in the market here, NVNI. So I'll be taking a look at that one. That one's up to 530s. Nice little breakout above the 5 there. Look to see if we get a pullback to 5. That's NVNI with a little bit of a nice little breakout. I like the 15-minute chart on this, guys. Look at this pattern. Really nice looking pattern here. So now I'm looking for pullbacks to 5. It's playing in well here. Just got a rip from 5 to 560s there. So now going to come in and hit resistance. We'll see if some sellers can come in here right around the 580 area. That's a resistance right there. If we can get the pullback back closer towards 5, I don't mind trying to play this, but I need it to come back here. Let's see what happens. NVNI, guys. Let's see if it can pull back here. All right, let me go ahead and bring down this. There we go, right back there. Here it goes. Here it goes. NVNI. I'm willing to try it here. Let's see if I can get a slight move towards 5 here. All right, order out at 5 here to see if I can get a quick little pullback. It hasn't pulled back enough for me yet. It went to the 506 there. Still looking to see it get washed out towards the 5 here. Let's see what happens. All right, did not get it there on that pullback there. It got close. It got close on that pullback. It went down to 505. It was really close there. I just kind of hesitated, didn't have the order. You saw me get the order ready there, but just wasn't fast enough. All right, right back to 530s here. I'm canceling the order right now because there's just no point up here at 530s. It looks good. I just missed that pullback at 505. QUBT Rigetti taking a big wallop right here out the gates. It could be a red to green move setup, so we're looking to see what happens there. But definitely already a big wash there on Rigetti and QUBT. Q's down here out the gates there. SPY taking a hit right below the 600 here. We got to continue to watch to see what areas are weak, what areas are strong here. I'll be watching communications, healthcare in the green right now. In the red, we got consumer cyclical and basic materials taking a big hit. Technology also down big today. Watch out there, guys. The downside action coming in solar today. Definitely seeing the leak there. So watch out on that end. We're seeing Nova down big, guys. That take a big hit there, down to 312s from 330s. Arrays taking a big hit. Shells, Beam. There's a lot of these names taking a kind of a beating today. SEDG also joining in that. Enphase taking a big hit there from 64.50s to 63.50s. Big red on that action. NVNI coming right back here towards the 5, has hit the 505 plenty of times here, but it just can't get above. And now the spread is widening out by about 20 to 30 cents. So I'll be leaving that name alone for the time being. NBIS, let's take a look at that one. Has pulled back a couple of times here, and it's already kind of beaten down. We'll see what happens with this one. A lot of resistance around the 28.75 has just pulled back a couple of times here. It just seems a little bit like this is getting hit on the hourly resistance and now taking a hit down. CCL, how's that doing? Carnival with a big push off of RCL's earnings, and RCL doing pretty well. So Leisure doing pretty well there. Apple doing pretty well, guys. And we've talked about it. It was on my radar there, and I just missed the breakout there in Apple. Look at the breakout in Apple. That tells me more and more. Watching for recovery in the Qs. Just got to wait to see what happens there. Tesla, down she goes, guys. Down she goes. I felt that feeling. Tesla could lose altitude today. We'll see if it can continue down. Boeing getting the uplift, and I think that this is not a bad one to look for, guys. Even though it had bad earnings, it's still having a good move there. So we'll see if this can keep pushing. NEP down big today. We'll see if this bounces back there. It was big hit there on NEP. It's starting to bounce back. It just made a move to 1250s. We'll see if it can actually push back towards maybe 13 today as a play that got really hit hard and now is bouncing back. All right, looking around out there, let me bring back my man Steve here. Steve's in the house, and like always, my friend, if you want to share your charts, feel free. We can always just jump on and grab those. What's going on? I just
took a little bit of a scalp short. I'm actually about to close it here, I think, just off the open on SPY. The loss of 600, I'm not expecting too deep of a move, but I am keeping an eye on it here.
All right, guys, we'll see if NVNI does a little bit of a down move here around the 5. It still hasn't broken out there. It's pulled back multiple times. It's gone to 505 2 or 3 times. I want to actually see it go to like 495s and then recover back through 5. Let's see if it does a fake washout here and then a quick recovery. Push those bears back, man. Push those bears back. We're doing it. OKLO, how's that doing today? Man, what a walloping hit on that one. So, yeah, the NNE, the nuclear trade, taking a big hit. Yesterday, my outlook was short SMR, and what a miss on that one, guys. That thing went from around 24, 25s all the way down there towards $20, and now taking a hit right towards the support, right out the gates. SMR, really weak here, guys. Really weak. Serve also taking a big beating. These robotic stocks taking a hit. Remember, like I talked about yesterday would distinguish between quality and euphoria. Seems like Serve is definitely in that euphoric state. QUBT also taking a hit this morning. We'll see if that can turn around. But, man, all these names taking a big hit this morning right out the gates there. I haven't been able to play too many of these on the downside here. We'll see if things get back. NVNI taking a big hit down to 466. So I'm sure some traders are caught now in that name. We'll see if it does come back. The only way I look at it, if it comes back through kind of like 488, $5, I'm leaving that one alone right now. I'm seeing back. I don't know what this one is, but hey, back. I guess it's back. Just pun intended there. It did make a move in the morning towards $2. It's pulled back a couple of times towards this 120 area. We'll see if it actually get going here. A little bit of a spike there, but nowhere near the VWAP. So I'm just kind of leaving this one alone for now.
Let's see. I am keeping an eye on Baba here. It held 90.50. I'd like to see it come back and retest 90 even. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Google here. See if it wants to double bottom this morning off of its 192 support.
Ooh. NVIDIA with the hit hard now. We'll see if things start to bounce back, man. Apple's so strong, though. That actually still doing really well, man. I kind of missed that rip out right out the gates. I think just from what I'm seeing from the big boys, they're struggling, and I think that's one thing to look at. Apple and Meta, the two kind of leaders on the upside right now. Let me see if I see any other leading action in the Qs here. Picard, that's interesting to see there, guys. Of course, CAT reports in a couple of days now. Picard is in the farm and heavy construction area, and to me, that's what interest rates potentially coming down that would help that trade. Black Sky coming back today, guys, and bouncing right back up. So this is one to look at, guys. The space trade is on and being talked about. It just went kind of red to green, so looking to see if it can go back into the green here on Black Sky. And you guys can look at a bunch of space names. ASTS, right, has just recently had an kind of an offering. It's right on the support. So I'm watching this stock to see if it does kind of that undercut and rally style trade and starts to work back. What are you seeing out there, Justy?
Let's see. I am still looking for SPY to catch pretty soon here. Google's looking pretty heavy. I'd like to see a catch very soon on that if it's going to. Otherwise, it is potentially flushing another $2. Keeping an eye on that. Apple's very, very strong. I would have liked to see a catch in ARK by now. I'm not seeing that. ARK K is a name I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not a ton going on for me. Just kind of poking around, seeing what I see. Only taking that one scalp so far.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of leaking, but I feel like it's a euphoric names where it's like the theme is really sexy, but maybe the stock fundamentals aren't that sexy, and those are taking big hits, right? And so like RCAT, QUBT, right? So that's why I'm looking at names that are up instead of trying to guess if these are just going to keep crumbling down. And that's mainly that I'm more upside outlook right now, even though the Qs and SPY are pointing to the downside right now. And so is SPY. Just went down to that trend line, right? We talked about this in the pre-market. Would it come to this like kind of hourly look on the trend line? And that's exactly what it's doing right now. So this is the area where I'm going to look to see if we can slightly undercut it and start to rebound off. And it's a good area because it's 940 right now. So in the next kind of 5 minutes, I'll be looking to see if we can get some type of recovery.
No, absolutely.
Still will let it try to wash out one more time because that would be the kind of that third kind of bottoming around 598s and then a recovery back through 599. That's what I could see if we're actually going to come back. If not, it could wash here to the next level, which is down towards like 596.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for too. Keep an eye here.
We'll see. We'll see. Here's that look, right? And of course, it's going to give a lot of looks there on the first action. And of course, there's a lot of bulls that came in yesterday. So the bulls get stuffed out the gates. The market likes to hurt where it can hurt the most.
No doubt. No doubt. So I'm going to pull up a book map for myself here. I'll let you know if I see anything worth pulling up for everybody else. But
yeah, man, we got to do a little bit of a book map day. So look forward towards that, guys. We'll do a little bit of a learning lesson on book map coming up soon.
Totally. So yeah, seeing weakness across the board except for Apple here. That's the only thing that's looking good. And VIX, I guess.
And then E bounce back. Let's see if it gets hit off the VWAP here. So it's either going to do a recovery here or get faded right back towards the 34. I could bet toward the upside here. I'm going to go to the main account. I don't mind taking a shot here to maybe catch some traders that are betting to the downside here, and then it recovers, right? So I'm going to look for a slight undercut of this 35, and then for it to recover that 35 and come right back up through this 35.70. Still holding well. It just bounced off that 35, so it might just recover here and then just be a VWAP bounce kind of recovery.
Amazon looks very strong.
Amazon, that's good to see. Maybe Shop off of that. So Shopify is one that has been starting to come back. Look at the daily on that. That actually looks pretty good there. So I kind of like that outlook, and I'd look at it on the weekly and I can tell it would be looking a lot cleaner, right? So look at that on the Shop. Nice little sideways consolidation on the weekly, maybe a move back above 111s today, making sense. So I look at it right now. It just pushed above 111s, now pulling back, maybe around the 110s on pullback. Doesn't seem too bad. We'll look to see what happens here in Shop.
Yeah, Shop's interesting for sure. I'm watching Amazon here for a break of the high day.
There's NNE going, guys. We'll see if it can really hold on here. I'm going to take a shot here. I'm definitely jumping up towards more resistance buy. But, hey, I'll take a shot there and try to hold off the support there, about 40 cents of risk here. Let's see if we can really get NNE to start bouncing back today.
Yeah, such a crazy powder keg. There's so much movement on that either way. Definitely worth day trading.
All right, I'm seeing QUBT down to 968 today, so definitely getting hit hard there. The SPY also now 598.50s. Still hasn't recovered that 599. What is doing well, and what did the red to green? A nice move on XLP, guys, on the radar this morning. Wasn't able to trade it there, but look at that. Nice little pullback. now recovering right back up, right? So look at the 15-minute on the XLP, strong action there. Take a look at Procter & Gamble, Coke, those types of names. Look at Coca-Cola take off there. Value, guys. That's what I'm seeing out there right now. Pepsi, another one that we saw moving this morning. Let's see if that can continue moving. Walmart continuing to move. So it looks like we're seeing that all around there, guys. Be careful out there. I'm getting washed in NNE right now. Let's see what happens there. I'm going to try to go ahead and get this 35 ad and then just see if I can hold off of the 35.
I'm starting to see a little bit of buyers coming in on indices here. I took another 7% scalp and just got out. Just feels like not a day to take big moves unless I really see something starting to play out here.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that conflicting noise out the gates, and I think that I'll just keep watching to see if the big boys can come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get that fake out there in NNE, but it just as quickly it came back here, guys. So I'll be looking to see if it could take 36 and really start to climb now. All right, XLP pulling back. That's a good sign there. Now I need to start to see if the overall market can catch a little bit of some run. Looking to see names like ARM, looking to see names like Apple, looking to see those types of names lead. ARM is an interesting setup off the 147.50 recovery. Here comes NNE looking like it wants to do that break above the 36 here, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and take the ad and then hold break even on the rest as it starts to jump towards the 36. Order out to add at 36. We'll see if I get there.
Yeah, it looks like I should have held that scalp. Damn. Smoking down. Amazon's still looking strong, I gotta say.
Looking at that shop trade here, I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's holding strong. I'm impressed. Just need to see the indices catch, but I'm debating Amazon here as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to look for a pullback into this space. Maybe it's around the 110 or 109.50 area. So somewhere in between here, if I could get one more pullback and shop and look for like maybe Amazon to take the lead, that's what I'll be looking for.
Totally.
So I trade these often side by side. If I see Amazon doing well, I'll start looking to see if the trend shifts over also to shop. And we have all highs in the same area for Amazon, 236, big spot to watch. ARM still weak there. Apple is one that I'm looking at. It's just starting to pull back. Could come back to the 9 EMA below 233s. I'll like it, but let's see what happens with some of the other names out there. Meta pulling back also, going towards the red. Not a good look there. RNAS ripping, guys. If you guys want to know what is ripping, RNAS, big rip there. Now towards on the halt on 1045. So it's in, this is the second halt, right? Third halt, guys. You all know how I feel about third halts. That's usually the down move next, but we'll find out.
I'm seeing some buy candles on Amazon and Google. Not much on Apple yet. I'm going to start cycling through the megas, but starting to look for some buys to come in and boost us here.
All right, OKLO back at VWAP here, guys. So interesting play here on NNE. If it starts to recover, can OKLO also do the same? I'll be watching to see if maybe I can get this breakout in NNE and then also play OKLO, right? So we'll see what happens. It's right around the VWAP, similar charts. Another one that we could look at to maybe come back today is CEG, but it's on the downside right now. That's taken a nice hit down back towards the monthly support. So a lot of times when you have these types of stocks where like it's a big theme, if you think it's a theme that could last for the year, monthly supports are big levels to look off of. So like look at this CEG. It's giving you an opportunity back at 266 when the stock was at 352. though?
I just saw a nice candle on Amazon. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I am going to take on any little. See if I got billed there. I think I might have got billed on that
There you go.
pullback. Yeah, I'm in. All right, I'm in at 235.45.
I like it. I like it.
In the world, but I'm in.
Yeah, shop coming up with it also. So the good look there on that one. Not doing too bad, guys. All right, let me start focusing in now on, of course, that limited account. I'm going to keep trading NNE there. I just got a hit on NNE. It just took a hit to the downside there. So just be careful out there, guys. Starting to see I got a fill there. I got 400 shares. Definitely took a hit there. I was looking to the right, looking at stocks there, and I got a fill when I wasn't watching there. So quick dip on NNE, really about to wash me out. It needs to recover 35. Is not, I'm out. NNE, man, the price action goes fast.
Yeah, it is crazy, right? The size of the candles.
Fast one, man. It's a fast one.
Oh yeah. So getting a little back to this on Amazon here. I'm watching it pretty close. I want to see it hold.
All right, there. Just set the risk there for NNE. If I take a hit, it's going to be a big one, guys. It'll be a 484. Big hit on the main account if I take this. But hey, it is what it is. Got to understand where my max pain would be out. And let's see if I take the hit right here.
Fingers crossed. Come on.
It's just about, it really was, I had the order for the ad at 35, but when it was close to 36 there, I moved it to 35.40s just to kind of put some limit, like pressure on the pullback. And boom, right there. And when I looked to the right, I was talking about Amazon, and it washed in one candle, really through my kind of bid there that I would have pulled back or canceled if I've seen it. But
yeah,
it is what it is, right? I mean, we'll see if it starts to come back here. Really, it's all about the 35 recovery now. I want to see if the Qs start to come back here. There it is. Now
Amazon wants to
come back.
Yeah, Google wants to.
Starting to come.
I'm liking this.
Yeah, I like that too, guys. And I'd start to take a look to see what's starting to show some strength or some turnaround look. I like ARM.
Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, ARM seems like the clear chip leader. That and I was going to say Broadcom until yesterday. Now it's a little harder to tell. But interesting. We are getting the breakout continuation on Amazon, it looks like. I'm looking for 238 to start trimming. I think we could hit 240 today, though. That is probably going to be my trade of the day. I don't know if I'm going to do too much more because I'm not seeing a ton more. I mean, SPY probably follows.
Grab some ARM there, looking for a pullback below 147s to add.
Google's coming back a little bit too. Nice. All right. Yeah, now I'm in protect profit mode. I had 2 good scalps and 1 good entry here. So now this does not go red. I do not go red on the day. Good feeling.
Looking to see if NNE can get back above the 35s here. And I'm watching Rigetti for the comeback now.
Sorry, doing some quick math on an options contract real quick.
All right, guys, going long on Rigetti, and this is for the limited account, guys. So let's see if we can get this to start going. I took 100 shares, just something simple to get started there, just in case it popped above the 13s and came really quickly to the 1345s. All right, we'll watch it spike and make it back above the 599s. That's a big watch for me. Can they get it back above 13s here? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we are just hanging out. Qs definitely have relative strength today, so that's nice to see. Well, for me, because I'm in Amazon, but Apple looks crazy strong.
All right, there's the break for 13 here, and it runs right into a wall here. So let's see if it can take 13 again here. There's 13 to show up again. 14,000 shares going through there at $12.99. So definitely we're starting to get the volume flow. There's 1305. Now we're into 1307s. I'm looking for a pullback to 13 here to get the ad. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Now we're getting a little run there, guys, on Rigetti. Now look for it to kind of reload here right below 13s. Let's see if it reloads right at 13s and then really takes the move. See QUBT coming back with this also, so just keeping an eye on that. Q's coming back fast.
Yeah. Amazon is hanging out. It's posting in some nice bottom wicks on its 1 minute candles here, looking like it is just starting. Hopefully I'm right here. I have to stop at 230. What is that? Actually, I'm just going to give it a little more room. But yeah, right under 235. I want to see it hold that. If it does come back at all, should be just a pretty clear move here up to 240-ish. 239, 240.
There's a dip right back below the 13s here, looking for reloads on Rigetti at 13. Let's go, team. Let's go.
Let's do
See
it.
what we can do.
Man, yeah, these quantum names, they're going to be interesting in the next week or so here. Really want to see what they can do. They'll be a good litmus test for the market. You know, kind of like I have a friend who says the market does not go down until Fartcoin dies. You know, so things like that. Keeping an eye on it.
Ain't wrong there. All right, nice 13 recovery there, guys. So now I'm looking for a 13 hit, and I'll get my ad of over 100 shares here, and then I'll look for the pop to 1350s, baby. Let's see if we can really get this thing to move here. Looking to go ahead and add here slightly towards 13s. I just pulled it to 1298s just to give myself a little bit because I hate when it hits my bid and it just sits there.
Yeah.
I'll just move it down a couple pennies, right? I'm like, well, then maybe you just open it up so that I can get it. All right, there's the recovery there. It was pretty strong there. Volume, not as intense as I wanted to see it there. There was a couple orders that went through bigger, but looking to maybe add here. I might have to add at 1310s if I want the ad. All right, quick dip towards 1304s there. Now it's starting to juice. Let's see if we can get the juice move now. With the market coming back, I'm going to take the shot here.
Juice it up. Juice world. We got, yeah, nice follow through on Qs for now. I'm going to be watching it as it comes into high day.
There's a pullback right back towards it, right back towards 13. So just be careful. Still at 1302, guys. Original entry was 1296. Watch out. We could get a little bit of a fake out pullback and then the move higher here. QUBT coming back for 10. Doesn't look too bad there.
Amazon's calling BS on any dips here. He's saying, let's go.
Right in that New Glen rocket, baby.
You know, it's always, or especially lately, I've been hesitant on saying, oh, well, this mega cap's going up. The market's going to follow because there's been so much dispersion between megas. You know, like Mitch watching Apple next to any other mega cap yesterday was wild. It's like,
yeah, dude.
They were literally, you know, selling one to buy the other.
That's what it is, man. People don't get it sometimes.
You know.
Rotation never ends, man. Never ends.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The computers know where to go. That's what I'll say. All right, guys. We could get a little bit of a fake washout and then a recovery here. So we just undercut 13 again here. So at this point, I got to set my risk here because if it washes out through 1295s, I don't want to be in it. So there's the recovery back through 13. Looking for a move that's above my entrance so that I can set the stop and then just try to add on the break to the upside. There's already that tested the downside there a little bit and right back towards the 13 recovery. That's a good look there. I like that it came to it, almost broke it, and then came out of it. So here you're still trying to build up the volume to really break out here. There's that test back down there towards the 95s. Here's where I was getting close to stopping out right around here. So now I'm going to go ahead and set it. $20 risk there towards 1292s. If it hits 1292s here, I want out anyways. Because if not, the flush could easily be 1260 and then it come back through 13, right? So there I have my set. It's right off this low, 1293. It's 1 penny off of that. Now I'm looking for 13 recovery and then the breakout. Where can I add? Above 1310s. So I'm going to put 1311 here for an add. All right, 1311 set up for an ad here. Let's see what happens now, guys.
Strong candle on SPY.
There it goes. Nice action here towards 1310s, 1311s. Once I hit at 1311, we'll look for a breakout towards 1320s. It didn't hit my stop right there. I'm moving it up a couple pennies here. When it doesn't hit my stop and it comes right to it, I usually am looking like, what is the market maker trying to catch me? So I'm going to pull it up a little bit from that level and say, hey, if you want to come get me, you're going to have to go wider, buddy.
No, absolutely.
It's a game of playing with the market structure and the way that things work, guys.
I took a little tiny position on Google. I don't want to add too many longs because I could be wrong, and then I don't want to be wrong about everything, you know. I did take a tiny little scalp of Google here. I'm looking for retrace up to day. We'll see if we get it. And I will put a stop right under VWAP, which is 192. It's a nice little tight entry there. Okay, Amazon is pushing higher. You like to see that.
Canceling the stop ad just for a second here. I'm focusing on the stop loss here and just waiting for it to come back to 1310s, and then I can go for the ad. There it is. Now back towards my entry here. Now in a second, I'm going to click the stop ad there. I'm going to do a stop limit ad because it's just going so fast. It might try to give me a horrible fill there.
Okay, Amazon, keep reaching, keep pushing. A little overextended, so I might need to flag out a bit. Wouldn't be surprised.
All right, there you go. I have the order out there. Stop limit set up, guys. So trigger at 1311, limit at 1308. Could put the limit higher than the stop and make sure that I get triggered. But that's just the reason why. What I'm looking for is to tap it, pull back, fill, and go. All right, guys. Q's back above 599. That was the big watch today. Now we're closer towards 600. The recovery is coming in here. Now ARM doing really well, guys, on that trade. And NNE got washed there, guys. I took a big hit on that one, but ARM coming back is pretty well. There's Rigetti trying to wash me out here, guys. I'm getting close to getting out on Rigetti. Just put a stop there, 1288s there. I didn't have my stop set there. Didn't want to show the hand. Now let's see if it cuts through. Back to the 1288s. I went out anyways because then it could easily come to 1260s.
Google Trade's working. I'm keeping that one on.
Took a hit there, $30 hit there on Rigetti, guys. Took a $30 hit on Rigetti. Could still come back up through 13s. I'm still watching for that.
So we got Q's breaking through the opening price. That's bullish. It might need to come back and retest. That'd be normal. Amazon showing nice relative strength. Google's playing ball now. SPY is up to its 200-minute moving average. This is going to be a big key area. It's also confluence with the 600 number. We're going to see him try to punch it through here. Watch if it's real. Nice push on Amazon. Nice reach up. I'm going to be taking this pretty darn soon here. We're trading up into supply zone. Yep, I'm taking that. Nice little scalperoonie there on Amazon. It might keep going, but that's all right. Money for the day.
All right, looking to see Rigetti get back into the play here, guys. I did get cut out. I don't mind coming back in.
All righty.
ARM doing really well, guys. ARM back to 149.50. We'll look to see it take out 150 and really get going.
Okie dokie. Apple looks like it wants to keep pushing higher. That's impressive. Crazy relative strength.
13 hitting on Rigetti again here, guys. Going for it here. Just went right back in it. 300 shares deep. Let's go.
Oh man, I sold my Amazon early for sure. It's so strong. That's all right. Made my money.
That's all that matters sometimes, man. All right, now starting to get the move up here, guys. Now to 1303s. Let's see if we can get it to break out here. Spaghetti. Trying to get some spaghetti. Not doing it, guys. Not doing it, guys. Back down here towards the 1290s.
So keep in mind on cues, we are reaching up into supply zone. We could easily punch through it. You know, if we are going bullish, I would expect us to. But if we are not going bullish, this is where they're going to try to sell us off.
All right, good to know out there. Steve giving us some insights on what he's seeing out there in the liquidity zone.
Yes, sir. And just a whole lot of ATR stuff, you know, just going off of statistical probabilities of, you know, when stocks go up, how up do they go? When they try to go up and reject, where do they usually reject? That kind of thing. So we got a nice wick up on Google and Amazon there. ARK's pushing. Apple looks like it's a top wicking, so it's probably going to keep flagging a little bit, and money's going to go into the other megas. That's what I'd like to see at least.
All right, guys, starting to get the action here at 1305. I got 300 shares and 200 shares ready to add at 1311s. At that point, even 30 cents could make me the money today. So let's see if this is the trade, guys. And like always, I lost 34 there, so I got to keep that in mind. Make sure that I take the cash that I need to go ahead, cash in for the day. Let's see. ARM doing pretty well there. We'll see if it can continue to lift off. NNE did stop me out, though. There's a nice little push there in Rigetti. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if we can get it here. I'm moving it up to 1312s just to give it a penny or two here to really give it that chance to get the 1310 momentum. There it hits. Triggered on there, guys. Now I'm 500 shares deep. I'm about a $50 up right now. Trying to hold for a $13 pullback right now just in case. But really should see it start to take off here. Let's see what happens. Rigetti, what are you going to do for me today? Let's go. All right, so nice little cross. Also, a lot of times, what do? We look at the MACD, right, for confirmation. Nice expansion away. We didn't want to see it cross now and looking for it to get above here. Mm-hmm. Let's see if it can hold the what they call the throwback look, which is this look right here. A close above towards 1318 is what I want to see.
Starting to see tiny bloody noses on some mega caps, so we might start to just see the tape shift from this expansion up to barcoding, which is totally normal and healthy for a move up.
Yeah, SPY and Qs went fast to the upside.
Yeah, right. So we gotta process that a little bit at some point. But hey, you know, you love to see the juice. It shows you that there are buyers here.
Yeah, there was some juice there.
We got the juice, Mitch. We got the Hugo. I love
the Hugo. Keep the Hugo on today, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, just took a daily pause on my other account there. NNE, I think, washing me out there. I pretty sure I set a stop there, but it looks like I didn't. And was focused on this account here. So taking a big hit in the other account, guys. Big hit in the other account.
Oh, man.
It sucks because ARM was doing so well, right? Like, this is just one of those days where just getting confused. I'm just going to put that on the sideline. Focus on this one, right? It's very hard to trade two accounts when I'm starting to trade them as active as I'm doing right now.
I mean, Mitch, it takes so much focus. It's hard to trade two stocks at the same time, to be completely
honest.
Yeah,
let alone run the stream with it, right?
and be personal and personable and all of that. It
is what it is, man.
Out here to manage my trades. I got to get better about that.
It is what it is, man. Sometimes you just got to let it go and sometimes take the punches. And I gave some punches last week. So if I took a punch this week, hey, is what it is.
Is what it is, brother. Absolutely. So SPY, we're just getting the little, the kind of throwback, look back that you were talking about on Rigetti. Kind of same thing here. overpuffed the 200-minute moving average. Now we're coming back, testing it. We have rising support coming in. We have a kitty coming in the window. Cleo, come on, you want to say hi?
Yes.
All right, there she is. Oh, that's a good cat. She wants food, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to be watching the spot of the market. I'm watching VIX right now, too. Just put in a pretty sizable bottom candle off of 1750 that I want to see if it's real or not. We got a little bit of push and pull there. Apple doesn't seem to mind. Neither does Google, so.
Yeah, man, Apple, dude. I've been missing out on that, but it's been good.
Dude, I wanted the 200-day moving average. I wanted the clean tap. I didn't want the front run. I didn't want the sketchiness. I wanted the clean tap. And you know what? It said, hey, this is close enough. Close enough for government work. We're done down here. It is what it is. Can't catch them all.
Rigetti not being able to hold on here, guys. I'm a little bit concerned of a washout coming in here now, as we've done a couple of red candles right off of that push where it hit my stop on the 1312s, and it was looking like it was pushing for it. So if we get back up there one last time, I definitely will be holding break even on the rest of that and looking for the breakout. But if it doesn't break out here, I have a feeling we could test down back towards support, and that's all the way down to 21250s. There's a 13 attempt recovery right back. Let's see if it gets it now. Pinching pennies, my man. Pinching those pennies.
You know, I got to say, it's a stressful looking chart, but it doesn't look bad to me. I think that we might start seeing it pop here. If not, then the shorts might hammer it down. But I mean, that double bottom off of the 1275 support that I have.
There's the hit down. Got to be careful here with that wash.
Yeah, watching VWAP on it.
There's the 1299 recovery, 13 at that point. So now at 1295 show up, and it's the out button. So you got to stay tight sometimes. And a lot of times what I do is, if it gives me that washout look, use that low, right? Use that low, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because if it comes back there, they're probably going to wash it, right? And so there's the lift right off of that back towards 13. So at this point, like 1298s I could risk off of.
Man, they're ping-ponging it. It's really tight between the VWAP where we caught and where we're headbanging right now is the 200.
Yeah.
So
this is that recovery style type of move, right? So they're making it look good for the Bears really quickly there. Now let's see if they make it look good for the Bulls and they just take it off through like 13, 15.
Yeah. And man, Amazon it's going to keep going to that 240 target, I think. I think I'm going to be sad, but hey, like you said, sometimes making your money is enough.
Yeah. Pat on the back for finding the right stocks, and even another pat on the back for making money.
And right? Hey, you know, this is the other thing I say. I may not have sold B-top, but I did sell A-top. You know, I saw that it was rounding, and I didn't know that it was going to be, you know, it was going to come right back 10 minutes later. What I did know is that we were running a little bit hot, and I was up, and I didn't want to give it back.
To battle and Rigetti, man. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is sell out just a little bit of it. All right. So this is risk control. So just took off 300 shares for a reason, right, guys? Reason why is if I don't take off those shares and it just wipes me out right now, I'll be frustrated, right? I can always add those shares back in if it just starts to rip off. So that a lot of times when I do that, it does rip off. But I'll tell you one thing: I'd rather cut share size and it go green than stay with big size and it go red, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's a battle right there.
Mm-hmm. What I did like though on that one little look back on the 1 minute candle is that where it tapped back was dead on the 200-minute moving average. So we are starting to kind of process and digest this band of resistance / support.
Yeah.
Seems like we're wanting to push to the upside of it with the help of SPY here. Let's see if that sticks. Google with a nice extension. I'm glad I did. I took the, so this is what I like to do. I like to be like the market makers, right? So if SPY's going up, they're going to cycle mega caps. If I'm in one mega cap and it pops, I'm going to get out and I'm going to look for the next one, to be honest. You know, so I got out of Amazon, and before I got out of Amazon, I got into Google actually. And then when I got out of Amazon, I didn't feel like I was FOMO. You know, I had the FOMO because I had a mega cap that I think they're going to rotate into. And that is seeming to be what we're getting. Now Google is going for the high day. So you love to see that.
All right, guys, I got it in there and I added right back, right? So now I'm back to 400 shares as it broke the high there, looking for the rip out. If it comes back to even 1305s, I'm going to get out here. Mm-hmm. So I'm just looking for just a continued breakout now.
I think you might be getting it though, because it didn't reject after it tapped the new high. Yeah,
there we go. Nice lift there to 13.15s. At this point, break even as it starts to hit 13.20s. Don't want to show my hands too early. Need the momentum in my favor before I show my hand. Right there. Now I can show my hand.
Yeah.
13.20 starts to come in here. Now we're looking for a lift off here, baby. Can we get the money that we need? We need to get to the high of the day, 13.50s, and we got this. So let's see what happens, guys. I'm going to go for it. Let's see what happens, guys.
That's pretty now, man. It was touch and go there for a second, but nice hold.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel my stop loss just to not show my hand and to make it come back here. Just looking for a little bit more pop through the 13.30s. If it starts to come back, I'll put my stop loss out there. I'm going to show you guys it right on the chart here, right as I do it, guys. So here you guys see it. Of course, I've been walking it through on my chart there to the right, but I'm on my execution window here, and you guys can see it. I tell you guys how it is, exactly where I add, where I get out, where I'm looking for profit, where most traders wouldn't give you half of that information. I'll give it to you guys because the truth is I'm learning just like you guys. Let's get after it. Let's see what we can do. See if we can make that money today.
Oh, real quick here, I am starting to think we might see a little bit of sell pressure on our GTI just from reading the tape there. What I did see, now this is looking good when it was wicking up, but what it did is it jumped a couple ticks and basically created a little bubble, and then it started to wick down from there. Right, SPY was rounding down. So often what they'll do is they'll hammer it back and refill that wick, and then if the market starts to roll, they'll use that momentum to push it. But this is actually looking pretty decent how they wicked it down and they haven't dumped it. Just something to keep in mind that the speed of the tape, like it was up, 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 then it jolted up, and then it slowed down. It's scary to me sometimes.
Yeah, so for me, it's like this is red to green classic penny stock small cap strategy. At this point, I just need to see it get back through the open. Where did the opening price come from? Right around the price where I'm trying to sell to. So that's why I'm looking at that price and just watching the action here. Opening price, right, is going to be right here where the high was. The open was 13.45. The high was 13.50. So around 13.45, that's already an area where I could look to sell. Where a lot of times I've had plenty of traders tell me that have been on the floor and have that experience. Why not just watch opening price? Some people don't even watch it. All right, here's that pullback coming for the break even stop out if it does want to come back here. And I'm okay with letting that happen because taking $26 right now isn't going to do it, right? I could stair step and just get myself back, $20 down. But what I'm doing is not showing my hand here. That's why you don't see the stop out there, right? I'm not poker hand open. I'm poker hand closed. I got my nice right now. Let's call it the straight draw. I have a really nice straight draw right now. I just need one more card to actually get the straight. Let's see what happens here. On the river. What will I get on the river? Black Sky mentioned by Steph. That's a good one to watch, man. I'll show you guys a tweet about Black Sky coming up. I'm sure it's doing pretty decent there.
Black Sky's a crazy chart. When it broke
Dude,
out.
yesterday, like I talked to some theme style traders on Twitter, and then we were talking about it. And I was like, Black Sky, Planet Labs, sticking around, guys. Those look pretty decent there. Let's see what happens, right? And I got, of course, instantly one trader on Twitter. It's down 10%. How dare you say it's holding on?
Mitch, what are you doing? No red days allowed on high beta stocks.
Yeah, I was like, dude, it's 10% on a stock that could easily go like 40, 60%.
Oh, yeah. We call that healthy price action.
Yeah, dude, you can't stress it. What do you got? What you got?
SPIR for the space theme. Their satellite company that looks amazing.
Hey, got to check it out. Space is an interesting theme, right? It's interesting to Trump. It's interesting to us.
It's the future, right? You know, so it's one that I'm watching very closely. I'm looking for a little pullback in the 15 to 17 area to get long for a long-term hold. Just took off on me, man. I wanted in at 15 and it said, phew, we're going to 20 right now.
All right, guys, might get washed here before the move actually happens. And so what I'm looking to do here is if it washes me, I'll look to get back into this trade, just hopefully back at 13, right? If I let it go down to 13, I'm going to start losing on a trade that I was already up a good amount. So what I'm trying to do is just give myself the ability here to hold and then see if it can actually make the move or not, right? And so I just pulled it to 1309, which is my average. A lot of times when I see it like kind of balancing out here like it is right now, so slow down, essentially it could rip back up, but they're going to spread it out right here. So I can maybe risk like a penny or two just to try to help myself, like maybe 1307 here, right? That's not going to really hurt me $8 if I get hit there, but it helps me with the spread if they're trying to spread it out and catch me.
Yeah. Indices looking like they're in.
See how they spread it out right there. Look, that was real quick. You guys saw it, right? I know that sometimes people say, hey, your stops aren't hunted there, but it can easily happen. Here's the 13 washout look. Now let's see if they wash it out or they bring it right back up, ramping. Man, so this is why I didn't want to hang out in it, because the wash could be big.
In retrospect, just that I feel like I'm learning a lot from my nitty gritty tape reads, like where especially a skill that's really helped me recently that I learned was like in your head, kind of keeping track of the strength of the tape. So for me, Rigetti was like, it was like 5-6, 5-6, 5-6, 0-6, 7, 7, 7, 8, nice 7, 8, and then it went 7, 9. It went like 7, 8, 9 there really quick, and then it slowed down for me, and that did end up being that swing high there. So like I really get antsy when the tape speeds up, like it's a parabolic kind of blow off,
Yeah. Yeah, so it's reloading, right? I mean, that's what happens usually a lot of the times. And one thing that I'd look at a lot of is the hourly levels for hourly rejections, right? Seems like we filled in some of the gap around the 1324s and really ran into some of more of that the kind of gap resistance. So I'd look to see if we can get back above 1357s today. That's the big watch. That's where you start to shake some of that bearish action and you're back towards the trend line. So doesn't mean that we're done, and doesn't mean that this stock is done today. So that's why I got out for another attempt to get back in.
Absolutely, man. I'm just puking over here looking at Amazon. I sold the one red candle, the 1 minute red candle. So that's a little sus. I probably should have. I think I was a little stressed today and not sure if we were going to catch. I wanted to lock in a win. I was red. Let's see. I was red at open because of a swing.
Hughes holding well, man. Holding well. Apple still up there to the 236, man. That was another good call there on that one. Rigetti back towards 13, guys. I'm looking at it here. All right, guys. I'm jumping right back in, guys. Sometimes you got to be a nimble and quick. So I'm hopping right back in there. 1303s. We'll watch it right now. Small size first. Let it start getting into my favor. Then I go for the ad and go for the win. All right, now starting to get into my favor here. Now I'm looking for that 1310s to show up here. 1310s, let's go. Let's rock and roll. I got a 1306 here, 400 shares. Let's see if it starts to rock and roll.
Yeah, Google is screaming, man. So these megas, they definitely were just I can't believe that we're bearish. I can't believe that we're bearish when megas are doing this off the lows.
Dude, they just took our eyes off of it. That's all it was, man. They were like, "Oh, how do we put out something, or how do we get something out that the focus isn't on Trump?"
Yeah, if they don't bore you out, they scare you out, right?
I think that was exactly that type of day yesterday.
Yep. That scared me out, dude. I got stopped out of stuff, but hey,
it scared a lot of people, man. Tons of people were struggling yesterday.
And I'm still red from yesterday. I haven't made back my losses yet completely, but we're getting there, and it's feels a lot better than just white knuckling it. I'll take the L, and then I'll see what's happening later. Man, there goes Amazon screaming to my 240 target. Oh goodness. It's when it helps to have that runner call, I really wish I had enough for the runner there.
So right now we're trading in a channel on this Rigetti, and it's an interesting looking channel here. But I can draw it out in a second here. I drew it on my left chart here on my grid. I'll just pull it here so I can show you guys it. I have this grid on the left-hand side. It has some stocks. Look at this grid right there. So you see the nice channel that we're trading in right now. Essentially right here. So you guys can see that Rigetti. I'm looking to see if it can get back up there to the 37s and 40s on the trend line, but it could still hit the bottom trend line. It's hit it 1, 2, 3. So the rule of 4, right, comes into play here. You could get an undercut, which is the scary one, which is a hit on the trend line, 12.95, undercut to 12.90, and a recovery. So just keeping a very close eye on it. Got to be willing to get in and out, like a fast food restaurant, baby.
Love it. Oh, goodness. I'm going to have to take Amazon off my screen. There's not been a green candle. That's hard to watch.
All right, guys. I'll probably risk down towards that 1290s because I think we could get a wick there and then a recovery or some kind of wick and then recovery here. So I got to put in the risk. That's about $50. I'm cool with it. If even I lose $100 today, really well managed $100. Let's say that much. So let's go. Look at the Qs, man. 518s, man. We should have just been playing the Qs.
I mean, brother, that's basically where I've been at. I'm like, I can't even. There's so many charts to watch, but megas are doing this, so I gotta watch them.
Yeah, it's one of those days where I use this account to trade the smaller ones, so I didn't want to necessarily just be like, all right, well, now I'm going to trade like Apple on this account, right? So I was trying to focus on the bigger names early and then move to these later in the day. It seems like I should have done it the other way.
It happens. You know, I'm not often right, but sometimes I'm dialed in, and I was pretty sure megas were going to be where to watch today. So that's
for sure.
That's everything on my screen. I got two charts dedicated to.
Yeah, even Tesla's starting to come back a little bit.
Let's call them non-blue chips. That's a nice name for the less reliable companies.
All right, they're hitting that Rigetti right on the bottom end of the channel here. This is where they could do that undercut and rally. So I'm looking to see if it does it. Where it creates this wick style look, where it creates pressure and it gets bears to go short, and then it starts to push right back up where it was. I'm leaning more to the upside too, so we'll see what happens. I mean, the overall market is really pushing strong. If there's a day it's going to come back, it's right here. So let's see it.
Yeah, I'm watching a little bit of Bloody Nose on Google here. Hoping it holds 194, the back test of the hourly trigger. If so, then it can start to cook into the afternoon, which is what I'd really like to see. We are running hot on indices, so like if you were in weekly options, for example, I'd probably be taking most off at this point. But you know, like if you entered a swing in the past couple days, or the past day or so, wow, look at Amazon power candle with volume. It's either about to push really hard, or I would assume that they would cool it off.
Look at shop.
Oh man, look at that, all green.
You see, dude, it's how it goes sometimes, right? But one thing that we can do is use each other, right? To help support each other, right? Like Justy finding the Amazon looking well. Well, guess what? I said, you know what? I'm gonna go look at shop. It was right off the VWAP, right? I mean, now it's 117 from 111. 6 point run, right? 100 shares there. I'm celebrating the day, right? Hey. That's how it is sometimes. I'm a little bit off on the main account here, and I will admit that, right? I took a little bit of a big L on NNE, but had the right mentality. And so sometimes you got to understand, hey, that was the result. The intentions were good. The strategy ideas were good. So just give yourself a pat on the back and move on.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on here. There's plenty of mega caps to watch. I don't need to watch Amazon anymore. It did the thing. It's hard to watch. I'm not going to chase it.
It did the thing, baby. It did the thing.
Oh, Microsoft screaming even harder. Oh, goodness. It's straight up.
Ooh, the SPY is straight up, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hard to complain about
Remember
that.
I talked about, right, when we were going to that 599, I was like, watch for this undercut at 599 and then a quick recovery there. Maybe a 598 move. We went back down towards a low of 597.26. Quick recovery. And now, from the open, we haven't even looked back at that 600.
Yeah, this just screaming. So that tells me that the chase is on. And so that's why, for me, I'm going to be honest. I was pretty, I don't know, yesterday, it's coming, right? But it still shakes you up a little bit. So I was just very antsy, or not antsy, but hesitant to size up today. So I'm upset because you're describing it in retrospect. It's such a fat pitch. But now I'm checking the upsetness and being like, hey, we made our money. We're learning a lot. This is a lot. There's a lot to learn from today, Yeah,
man. That's where I think a lot of traders get it wrong, right? When they make a mistake or something, instead of thinking about, hey, how can I make improvements? They're just stuck on, well, I could have got this money today. Well, the truth is how can we make the improvement? Making improvements, what we're here for, right?
Right, and that's the big thing, right? As long as we're taking a step forward, no, it's progress is never linear, right? You know, it's going to be ups and downs, but you don't focus on your daily profits every day. You know, it's more about the weekly profits, the monthly profits, the yearly profits. You know, what's the trajectory like? So
it's vital. It's vital, and I think it's so important, guys. We'll see what happens here with Rigetti. I'm still hanging out in it, guys. I've been stuck on the Rigetti train. I guess I'm going to be stuck on it today, and we'll see if it pays out, right? Sometimes I've done this plenty of times where I've gotten in and out of trades and then missed the big upside move, right? So that's what I'm sticking around with. We'll see if we get it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we have the gap fill coming up on SPY, and that's also anchored VWAP. So 603 is going to be big resistance, and we might see them front running here.
Hey, if you want, how about you share your charts for me, Steve? I'll get that up there at least so that some traders can see some other charts than me stuck on Rigetti.
Sure thing.
Sorry, guys. You guys know I'm still looking in the market for you guys. It's just more. Oh man, this RNAS is just insanity, guys. Look at this thing go. It went to that third halt, did halt down after that, but then came back after another halt on the downside, and it's back to 1173. So yeah, you're getting some momentum in RNAS, that's for sure.
And sorry, let me correct that. Whenever you're ready, we can pop up on my screen here, and I'll show you.
Yeah, I got you, my friend.
Cool. All right. Hide some of this. Perfect. So what we're looking at here is the daily SPY chart. When I said a gap fill, I was looking at this old line from the downwards gap fill that we just knifed straight through. So what we do have is, can you guys see if I highlight my cursor? You see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, the highlight. Okay, so cool. So this gap here, we also have the gap on this side of the tape. So it's a very hollow zone here. So what I'm looking for is if we can close the daily candle above here, we can surge through here. But this might be like a very logical break point for them to kind of try to hold. It's also pretty much this swing high here. So I'm watching this for sure. We could, like tomorrow, for example, whip back and retest this imbalance here between these two bodies of these candles. So that's something to watch for sure, just in terms of trajectory in the next couple of days. You could ignore my crazy lines here. They didn't quite pan out, although we did kind of get I think we're getting a highly ramped up version of this orange line here, where we come down, basically back test this flag, back test this support block. We undercut it a little, but that's kind of better, right? We filled in this imbalance too. So now there's really, I mean, yeah, whatever, sure. They could reach down there later, but like, and I'm sure they will at some point, but you know, there are plenty of gaps that don't fill for a long time on SPY. And when you get a bunch up and then they fill some and show support, that's usually not a sign of weakness, right? So that's kind of where I'm at, big picture on SPY.
Can't blame you on that, and I definitely don't think we're seeing weakness here. I think we're seeing some loading up the boat and using that yesterday's action. Definitely, you saw a lot of traders, especially the bigger traders. Seems like they were on the upside move. Now, yeah. Of course, keep eyes open towards 11. Right, we're at 10:30 here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and let me see really quickly. Going over flow, I have a few stocks that are pinging. So AAL, this one's interesting to me. I actually played this yesterday. I had a really nice move. So what people are playing, they're slamming these 1750 calls for this gap fill this week. I'm not sure we get it, and I'm a little hesitant just because these calls already paid 100% yesterday. So sometimes if you see those pings happening multiple times, 2 days in a row, somebody might be selling a block of those, you know, and just saying, hey, I'm getting out. You know, I was an active trader. I sold some. Now I still have a bunch. They're paid for. I'm going to take the money and run. But this is one that I'm watching for this gap fill because there's a lot of eyes on this that want to see this fill. There's I think the consensus was their earnings kind of got oversold, and they're still basically flagging. So this is definitely what I'm keeping an eye on here. Long term, it's just a little back test before they really start cooking. They swept liquidity. From that high, you have or exact equal highs there to shoot for 19. So this is one chart that I'm watching. Just wanted to let you know because I was seeing a bunch more of those coming in right then.
All right, chat talking about, looks like Steph had one of the issues I've had before where you turn really quickly to the order form and you hit the buy button or the sell button, and then you realize you didn't hit the quantity right.
Yeah, you realize
hit that one share.
your fees are more than your profits. Like, what happened? I got
No,
this.
you're like, I got this. You look back, oh crap, one share, man. It happens to me all the time, man. Especially on these penny names. Sometimes you go, you put the ticker, and it'll change the quantity. One thing that I'll tell you, a little bit of insight, right? Instead of just making it a mistake to laugh at, right? Like it's more to learn, right? So here's the thing that you can do. So on your order forms, you see this down arrow? Set your lot defaults. So you see how I have here 100, 200, 300 on the down arrow? That can help you guys. Instead of informing it, I'll show you right now on the chart. So you guys see here where the quantity is. You can go to right here and set defaults so that you at least have set the defaults on what you're going to do, right? So that's one thing that you can do right there. So just trying to set you up for next time so that way you can just down click, hit 300 and have it ready to go. All right, guys, this is just not being able to do it right now, guys. Rigetti's the ticking time bomb's about to ring off here, guys. So just be careful out there with Rigetti. I'm at the point where I'm about to just let it go.
So if you want to pop it back to my screen, there's a few things that I am looking at here. Cool. So SPY, the first thing here is that in Confluence, this teal line here that's coming down, this is the anchored VWAP from the highs. So this is very important to kind of track the average person's entry in this past, move from the high there. So people who are buying the dip, basically, we want to see get over this, then the dip buyers can start being in profit on average. So there's that. There's the gap fill line that we talked about. There's also Confluence with this. I'm not sure how easy it is to see, but at 602.15, we have my ATR basically line in the sand, which is saying that bulls shall not pass this line unless it's a real move up, right? So this is like the place where they could bop it. And you see they are trying. We'll see how it is. Personally, I'm starting to think that, my thesis is up, right? Because this is a really strong buy the dip. They basically came back and checked price action from yesterday, said, yes, we are still buyers here. This is a valid bottom. And we have a nice volume profile building out there, which we can start to try to take back up to these highs. On the top left of your screen, you see these bigger bars here too on the left. So that's going to be the magnet if we can just push through this gap. So that 603 level is very important. I would expect maybe flagging till power hour, maybe a little bit of pullback to it could even come back and test 600. But in general, this feels very constructive to me, and it would have to lose today's lows for me to feel sketchy about it, like in terms of, overall trajectory. That's one thing I'm watching, but also intraday, we do have VIX at a pretty big support. This monthly support at 1710 is showing a little bit of buyers, and they do have support down here too. So that's just something to watch because we had a big move. We'll call it parabolic, 25% move. Whoa, 50% move. Holy moly. Yeah, so you can't just completely ignore it when VIX moves that big, but I think it's like earthquakes where you get a pretty good sized one and then everything kind of settles down. The tectonic plates can kind of chill out a little bit. So
yeah, man.
Intraday maybe a little catch. I don't know.
One thing, all I'm hearing when you're saying that they cannot pass, and I hope it's not true, but all I'm seeing is you shall not pass.
Read my mind. Yeah, we'll see if it's a Gandalf day or not. Sometimes they're Gandalf days, but I don't think this is a Gandalf day.
Dude, I hope I got that wooden stick, man. I'm about to slam that thing down right now. Spaghetti's trying to get me here, guys. We'll see what happens. The battle's on, team.
They're shaking that tree on Rigetti. I think there's a lot of shifting between what people are short in right now. Like, there's probably a lot of profit taking off the mega cap shorts, and they're like, "What piece of crap?
Yeah.
Dunk underwater here." They dumped piece of crap in this morning off the Ford news, and now that's recovering a little. Maybe it's Quantum's time.
All right, guys, got to be careful here. If not, I'm going to take the hit there. So just got to keep myself in the game here. And if it's taking the hit here, it might be just taking the hit. So right underneath it, about to risk there, about 66 here. So it's probably going to spread out and grab me. I'm just watching it right here on the tape. I do see some kind of bidding action right underneath it. So I have a feeling to grab it towards the 1289s.
1287 is hourly support for me. So like on back tests, if the move up is valid, this is where they'd be trying to start buying it, just for what it's worth there.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. And so we'll see what happens here, guys. Can it come back or not? This is make it or break it zone.
Man, Google is flagging nicely over their hourly trigger. It looks like they wanna kind of turn this into a squarely positive day like SPY. Very similar places into that Gandalf levels on those stocks. So Apple worked through the Gandalf level. Microsoft is testing the Gandalf level and looking like they want to go higher. Amazon, don't make me look. You know it's over. You know it's over. So we're not weak. We're not weak. That's for sure.
She's dead to me.
You know what? If it moons, it moons. It's like that movie. If he dies, he dies. I cannot control all the variables. I can control my own emotions, and my emotions were running hot. So I booked my money, and I'll live with it. Mitch, I'll live with it.
That's it. That's all you can ever do, man. I'm trying to live with it here, guys. And there you guys have it. It's right there on that wrist spot now. Ooh, just actually went through that stop there. So got to reset here. All right.
Oh, a little bit of crime action. They're shaking the tree, Mitch. I don't like it.
Oh, they're shaking me hard. Don't worry. They're shaking me hard right now, guys. We'll see if we get hit here. And it'd be about $94, about $50 more than I wanted, right? So not happy about that, but it washed through right there. I was just trying to set the stop there, and it washed through that 87. So it's coming back right now. I can just cut it here, but I'm going to give it the chance to see if it just hits 1290s and bounces to 13 here. But we'll see what happens, guys. I gave it the shot, right? Gave it the shot more than probably more than even than I needed it to. But let's see what happens. It's right on that support. Let's see if it just undercuts and recovers and then starts to work its way back.
You know, Mitch, I don't hate it here, honestly. Like, this is the kind of look it would give if it was shaking people out. And you know, it's the thing.
Yeah, exactly, because it shook me.
It's not like oh, you took a noob entry. It's just like they're like, oh no, we're going for these guys too. You know, it's very like cutthroat, and it's I just want to be clear that, like, I don't know, these things are so probability based. You know, like, because I was looking at the same thing you were, and I was like, man, it looks good, and then they're like, no, we're gonna do some crime. We're gonna take these guys' money, and then we're gonna. Well, we'll see. We'll see if they take it out. But
yeah, let's see if they just go for the quick push.
The price action on megas in the past couple of days have been steal your lunch money and then off to the races too. So very, very common in this market with Trump volatility. You know, I think that's it's the time. If ever there was a time, which I think is always, you should be putting your stop or your entries where other people's stops are. So they're gonna swoop.
Yeah. It happens so often, man, and we've been seeing that more and more, right? Yeah. That's why I like and I might have to start trying it again. Is the kind of was taking things in like a third, and then the last third was actually the bigger position.
Yeah, like when you know it's real.
Yeah, exactly. So you know you're like, it's just a feeler, and then all right, let's go.
Yep. Yeah, if I had done that into my longs this morning, I was too busy with my short scalps. But if every time I took money off of the short scalp, I was like, because I thought, you know, would bounce a little, I just added to my long position, and I'd be feasting today, Mitch. Instead, I got a nice week.
It's been that type of day, guys. Smash the like if you guys enjoyed out there. You guys see Visa, X News, Elon, everything? Oh, good Lord. What did Elon do now?
Well, Visa
Fill us in, Tim. Fill us in.
Yeah, what's going on?
We don't know. All right, guys. Getting that shake right now on that tree of Rigetti, and it's about to get me out here, guys.
Yeah, that's a tougher look.
Yeah, man. It's tough now. Ooh, stopped out right here. Should be stopped out. Ooh, it pulled through that. All right, I got 1 penny. 1 penny here, guys. Probably just going to get hit. The 1 penny. But if I get hit, I get hit, and I just keep battling, guys. I'm not going to let it shake me, not let it deter me, and there it is. Got hit there. Down 164 today. Go from being within 150, now closer towards 300. But hey, it is what it is. Keep battling. And that's what I'm going to be doing, guys. So, hey, I'll leave the account alone right now, because if I go and I start pushing right now, that's easily how I wreck it, right? Yeah. So I did take some trades there. I set up. I bought on breakout looks. It was really good. You guys can see here, down 31, down 10, down 108. You see that one was the one right there where it went just a little too far. Really should have been cutting out near the VWAP towards that 13. And then just looking to get back through 13 above, right? So we'll see what happens there on Rigetti. Just wasn't it. And I picked that stock, so that's me, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there was tons of stocks that did well. ARM, I'd still be in the green, just kind of riding that momentum. So we'll see what happens there. with this at 149. See if it gets to the 150 spot there. But definitely taking a major hit on my other account. Major hit, guys. Down 754, and it cut the arm position, right? So, hey, that's tough right there. And that was a big part of me just being distracted, right? NNE should have been able to, I thought I set the stop, and it clearly looks like I did not set the stop there. So should have been cut out there at the 34.40s, which would have saved me about $300, which would kept me in the day, right? So we'll see what happens there with NNE if it does come back. But definitely taking some hits today. RNAS, your top penny stock of the day, almost to 15 now, guys. That thing's ripping and rolling. There was some news out there. Let me see if I can catch the news really quickly here. I think Tim sent it to me here. So it looks like X is powering with something. Let's see what here. So it looks like X is powering with Visa to power X money features. So essentially, looks like it's going to be the new PayPal. So another milestone for the Everything app. Finally hearing more mentions of the Everything app. And we all know how Trump likes that. Not Trump, Elon likes that. So I will give you guys that. In that press release, this hype word right here. The Everything app. Keep that in mind, guys. Money Mitch catches things like these wordings often. It's not, I don't even care about the rest of the press release anymore. I don't even need to read it.
You found the pattern. You're honed in. You're seeing
this is it. This is the insight that she's giving you. Linda's giving you the insight there. It's not about the payment now. It's that X is no longer X. Right. X is no longer Twitter with this move. X is now
branding thing. I mean,
the
Twitter,
Everything app.
Yeah, Twitter's taken a bit of a header, a bit of a nosedive in terms of brand quality, I would say, at least in terms of investing.
So, yeah, that right there is important for me. It said Visa is our first partner in X money account. First partner, keyword again, right? That meaning what? There's more partners in line, right?
Right.
So you got to be able to like kind of take it. I took a really interesting class in college, and I hope that if there's some young guys out there, go take this class, guys. It's logic. Logic is so interesting, guys, because it would break this down in this argument, and you can start to pull the positives and negatives and understanding what they're actually trying to intend to tell you, right? So I thought that's interesting there. It says it allows for secure instant funding for your X wallet via Visa Direct. So it connects to your debit card, allowing pay-to-payment systems, options, instantly transfers funds to bank accounts. The first of many big announcements about X Money this year. The platform plans to utilize Visa Direct, its real-time money transfer to deposit funds into X wallets. All right, so pretty much enabling you like a kind of like a PayPal, right? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. But I'm telling you guys, what it is more is it's not worrying about that. It's where we're going, which is the Everything app, right? And what does he want to do? He wants to put everything on there. He wants you to be able to shop on there. He wants you to be able to call the robo-taxi, right? Call the Tesla robo-taxi on there. So I think, you know what would be a great, and I'm just spitballing here, right? Because I'm not trading, but what if he combines Tesla and Twitter? Like brings that.
You put it in, Mitch. What is that Frankenstein monster? What do we call it?
Right, and then just says, you know what? I want to make the Everything app, so why not make the Everything company?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man, because he's going to get some regulatory fight back if he starts bringing in Tesla into Twitter. We all know that.
I'm like, this is where it's like hard for me because like I have to be careful to separate my personal feelings from the market conditions.
Yeah,
market conditions, deregulation will increase our account sizes, no doubt. There are probably some bad sides to that societally, but that's not what we're here for. What we are here for is if those two companies merge, I want a piece of that pie, Mitch. That's all I know.
Yeah, man. That's it, man. Hey, Thanks for the link, Tim. I appreciate you in the chat, my friend, keeping us up to date with that news. Definitely appreciate it, my friend. And Wisdom, I'll check your email, of course, my friend. We'll meet up when I can. And you guys can always email me, right? Mitch@tradethepool.com, guys. Send me emails. Wisdom wants to do a little meetup. Hey, I'll meet up. Why not, right? At the end of the day, guys, I'm always here to push you guys forward, right? At the end of the day, you guys see me trading, trying to push myself and up my skills. But at the end of the day, I'm here for you guys because, like I said, let's say on Friday, I had two $600 days, two $700 days, right? A lot of that is me just trading by myself and being focused, right? And so I do it here a lot to try to teach you guys from the ups and downs of the swings in trading, learning how to try to control the wave and learn how to ride the up wave, right? Expand that up wave and then control the down wave. Right now, I'm fighting in the account, right? You guys saw it, right? I was really close to getting it up there, and now it's on a little bit of a pullback, right? So at this point, what do I got to do? I got to keep battling, guys. Just got to keep battling and understand that there's always going to be this up and down action. It's how you deal with it that matters, right? So what I mean by this is the equity wave, and I'll show you guys it right now because I always talk about this. I think it's so important. It's just control the down and wait to ride the up again. So this is the equity wave in that limited account, right? You guys can see it now down to 1,029, still within pretty much 300, maybe 320 there to be exact, right? But you guys can see it, right? So ride the up waves, control the down waves. I went to 524, went down to 494, right? So ride the up wave, 112, down to 1,097. Ride the up wave, control the downs, right? You don't want to see stair step down. You want to stair step up, right? Now that's always a nice one, but that's why I think where most traders get it wrong. They start to see this down on the equity wave and they take a stair step move. I'll bring myself into it to kind of bring it up, right? I mean, take a look at the stair step move that I ran into today, right? So look at this one, right? More of those ladders. Control the down, guys. If we can control the down, we can ride the up, right? What we don't want to do is these quick moves down, right? These are the ones that really hurt us, right? So at the end of the day, if we can control those and you're a good trader, that's the way I view this, right? If you're a profitable trader, right? If you can trade to a system, you should be able to get back into that up wave. You just need to control the down wave, right?
And one thing I just want to jump in and add really quick, Mitch, this is also good. Just with those big losses, those big sharp ones down, what it's telling you is that you're probably oversized, but your view is becoming myopic of the market. You're focused too much on one trade. You're sizing up, you're doubling down. There's something going on where you're not taking a holistic approach.
Yeah.
And you're putting too many eggs in one basket, right?
Exactly.
And at least that's the biggest killer in trading, when you're so sure about this one idea and you just got that little, you got that brain worm, you just can't let it go and you just double down and triple down. Hopefully you don't, but I think early in our trading careers, we've all been there where we're so sure. And Mitch, the market doesn't care about what you think.
Yeah.
Well, not you in particular, but
no, it doesn't. It doesn't care what anybody thinks. It's just, and that's why I always view it like, guys, like at the end of the day, it's a battle of psychology, right? And especially in the day trading game, right? I think it's more and more present in the day trading game than it is in the swing trading game. It's about flips, being able to play flips, right? I mean, the flip on Apple from 220 has been amazing, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
great, strong, and it's really just turned a light switch on, right? Buyers, that's
and sometimes I make mistakes on not playing the names that are on the playbook, right? The playbook today was Apple, right? Looking for the move through the high, the 232.15. This morning, what do? We break right through 320 right through that 232.15, and we keep going. We don't even look back at that spot, right? And yet they were so bearish Apple just last week, right?
Right.
This teaches you a lot, right, guys? So when you start to see the noise in the market, take a look to see if the chart's showing you something on the deeper time frames. That's what happened here with Apple. And that's why I agree with you on Google here, because I like the weekly on Google with holding the 9 EMA. Yes, it's going sideways, not doing much even today, but that's a good sign. Not much in consolidation at the top end of the range is never a bad thing.
Right. I mean, why I'm like really hunting Google, stalking Google for the big move is because, I mean, first off, everybody was so bullish last week because everybody had eyes on it. It's just a beautiful chart on all time frames. Then it got ugly on the daily. But like you're saying, the weekly 10 held. The daily 10 got puked, but the weekly 10 held. So, we're still cooking. It's just we had to take a step back. And what is that really doing? It's just pulling back and transferring shares from shorter term traders to longer term investors. And who really moves the stock? It's the longer term investors once the shorter term trades or shares are dried out. So, Meta, there you go. Meta, perfect example.
Yeah, I wanted to bring in Meta also, as I think this was a perfect example of a stock that was coming into earnings that gave you some good news on like last week, talking about more investments, right, in AI and things like that, and gave you the perfect storm to play the upside this week, right? So yesterday's down action was the perfect day to kind of realize like, whoa, like this is still a buy, right? Like it's right on the throwback look, right off of that trend line. So I think that was a clear example of a stock that was going into earnings that you guys could have played it into earnings. And now I'd be a little bit careful after when the earnings actually come into play, right? So it still has another day, Wednesday, that it can still lift off into. And who knows, by then it could be maybe up to 687, 700. By that time, the bar's been lifted, right? It's already maybe 10% from that bottoming action on Monday. And then what can the stock do on the earnings? It could probably go right back to that spot, like literally just right back. Like we're going to go 10% and bring it right back, right? And then it could go back higher after that. What I say on earnings play is always keep the calendar out and understand which stocks are coming into earnings maybe a week out of. I know that Disney does this often. I played Disney and I've called it here on the last one when we were looking at it and it was down here. And we were looking to see if it would start to make the recovery back towards 100. And it did recover 100. And then it just started to like kind of make this move back. Now on the daily, take a look here on Disney. That was that gap up move right here. Through the 100, it gapped up. Right before the earnings, it started to get hot, right? Like literally look, like it's what? Specifically 9 days, 7 bars. So 7 trading days right before it. About a week right before it is usually when I like to see it. A day before it, you can ride the daily momentum, but just think about it like Meta, right? Like it's right here, 9 bars, right? It's been on like kind of a 9-bar run since that bottoming underneath the 600, right? So a run into earnings, not after earnings a lot of the times, into earnings.
Right, because what we're seeing is basically we're seeing big magnets play out, right? Like up until earnings, there's a big incentive for people to, if they're bullish, run the stock up into it. And then all of a sudden it's a binary thing of, okay, but were they right? Because the magnet was for the run up, not necessarily for the reaction to the actual event. That's something to keep in mind.
And then there's one more thing that I can see happening, right? Is that by getting that run of 10% before the earnings, if I'm an institutional player, I can go and use some options to now hedge the earnings and give myself the ability to stay in the stock, yet I just made a good move, a good trade, right? And so essentially buy yourself protection and then look to see if Meta can continue in your direction. And as an institutional trader, that's exactly what they're thinking, right?
I mean, if you've been long Meta since, I don't know, half the current price, why is it stopping now? Is your thesis different? It's going great. Keep it going. Party on. Party on.
If anything, yesterday, that's why it went right back up, right? They were like, well, you knock it down when there's really good news out there. Well, we'll take that opportunity and we'll just look at a deeper time frame and grab it.
So Amazon was another perfect example. It was just one day behind Meta, but they used all day yesterday to buy it. From the second the bell opened, they said, "Oh, thank you so much. I've been trying to buy it up here and giving it to me down here. Yeah, I'll take it twice as much." But ended up the day flat, and now it's breaking out. So it's just
and what are we moving into? What are we moving into, right? And just to bring in narratives, right? We're moving into the Trump administration, where deregulation is going to be a common thing. What can help Amazon? Well, I'll tell you one thing. We're not going to see this next presidential 4 years. All these labor issues, all those the unions coming out and making more money. Well, guess what, unions? You're going to get the big old right in between the fingers right now because Trump doesn't believe in all that, right? You guys heard the way he felt when I think it was UPS that was doing all the things that they were doing, right? And then there was more and more. There's been plenty of unions. And what did the Republicans do? They used this as an advantage. They downed and poo-pooed all those labor agreements. So, yeah, that can help Amazon here. Because what was the biggest concern for Amazon? It's not necessarily what they're doing in growth. They're going to keep growing. They're going to keep doing more ads. They're going to keep expanding to more live sports. They're going to keep expanding, period. Now, the only concern? The workers, the workforce, the cost, right? And so this puts a little bit of pressure on that cost down and relieves that pressure, essentially creating tailwinds because of deregulation. So I know that a lot of people are focused on Trump with tariffs and inflation, but look at the other area where deregulation can create tailwinds to push these markets higher.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I will say without getting too political, regardless of how you feel on Trump, what you can do is use this information to both emotionally and financially, more important, financially hedge your own position in life. If maybe you do have a union job or you are, in the labor force, you can use this knowledge to kind of bet against, like the trajectory of that in some ways and kind of soften the blow of the impact of the policy. But we'll be focusing on the trades here because we're here to make money. Right, Mitch?
Love it. Love it. That's what it's all about. And I think it's important to think about what could I be being deterred from that is really what's happening underneath the hood. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more the conversation here. Okay, so Trump's going to put pressure on the Fed to cut rates. He's going to go ahead and bring deregulation into many different industries. He's going to push and push and push for AI investments all around. He's going to also bring deregulation to AI to help those people that are building AI not be concerned about running into barriers about how their data is being managed or blah, blah, blah. Right. Well, the truth is, he's going to be able to just let the green light go. That's the type of president that he is too, right? And he's a businessman first, right? So he's going to be like, go grow. Like, that's what I'm giving you the literally the golden, you're cutting the ribbon for them and saying, go. Now, what happens 6-8 years from that? That's what really happens, right? It takes a long time when you press the gas pedal to get it back towards the other side of the teeter-totter, right? We'll call it, right? So at this point, I think Trump's trying to do what? Gas pedal, man. Let's get this economy going, whichever way possible. Don't be worried about inflation 2 years, 3 years from now. Not now. That's why don't get too deterred from tariffs conversation. Tariffs are being what? They're being quantifiable. They're quantifiable. They're numbers that can be ran through economists and told, hey, if we do X and X, we'll push the economy this way and we'll push it down, but we're going to do this and this to alleviate that pressure, right? And so, hey, I'm thinking long-term here for 2025 because we're still in January, guys. I know it's crazy to think it, but it's been a crazy January indeed. I'm getting out of here, guys. I got to go. SPY's ripping above 600. Crazy recovery today. Stay safe out there, traders. Always good to have my man Steve, and we'll be having you back like always, my friend. And look forward to having you back. Who knows? Maybe we'll have you back later on this week with Tim later in the week. We'll see what we can do.
Talk about it for sure. Good to have you.
All right, guys. You guys have a good one. Stay safe out there, and hope you guys enjoyed Steve and I's conversation today. Not just the trading. And let us know what you want to hear more of. We'll keep pushing. See you next time.